On this episode of Tasty Cast, we discuss what games we've been playing. We react to Returnal, Hostel's PS5 video, NieR Replicant gameplay, and then we, of course, read your comments and reply to them. But before we get into that, make sure to download and play Oddworld, Soulstorm, Days Gone, and Zombie Army 4, all offered for free on PlayStation Plus. Make sure to download those, play those, come back this weekend for Plus Club. It's coming up real soon. We're going to be discussing those games. Let us know what you thought of those games. We'll let you know what we thought of them. And our game of the month picked by Chris is Neo 2. I almost forgot what it's called. We'll be talking about that next week on Game of the Month and revealing what our Game of the Month is, which will be randomly picked. And yeah, we have Discord link down below. You can talk to us anytime, all the time. We're on iTunes, Spotify, and the podcast platforms if you prefer to listen to us. And we have a Patreon if you'd like to support this channel further than liking, commenting, sharing this video, and subscribing if you're brand new. All right, let's get into this Taste Cast. What's going on, guys, and welcome to episode 140 of the Tasty Cast, our weekly podcast. My name's Seth, and joining me today, of course, is Chevy, and also joining us again is Josh. And yeah, we're gonna jump into what we've been playing. But before that, how you guys doing?
Doing good. Was off last week, and this is the first day back to work after like 9 days. So
I hate that. I hate that feeling.
I'm feeling pretty sore, but otherwise I'm good.
I always hate the last day of my vacation because I'm just like, here we go,
anticipating
going
all
back
day
to hell.
Yeah.
And then you get there and you're just like, I forgot how to work. It's been so long.
Yeah. Fortunately, it felt like I was gone like a day once I got back to work. But,
That's good.
But yeah, otherwise good. It was nice to be able to like sit down and just kind of do nothing for a week. So
For sure. Yeah, you did the whole staycation thing, played some video games. You guys played some, and of course we'll talk about it at some point. Neo 2.
Yes.
A lot, it seems like. Seems like you guys played that a lot.
I only probably played like 2-3 times.
Seems like somebody played a lot. That's certain someone's not here today, but he'll be back at some point. Josh, how you doing? Great?
Not bad. Off work, so I'm kind of tired, but other than that, I'm ready to rip and tear.
Sick, dude.
I don't know if YouTube will appreciate that.
Yeah, probably not. I feel tired, but I also am drinking this fucking, for everybody watching, I drink this fucking canned G Fuel. This is not a commercial for them. And it's got 300 milligrams of caffeine in it, and I fucking feel crazy right now. So I'm going to try and conduct this. I'm going to try and guide us through these waters as best as I can, but I can't give any guarantees. So, yeah, let's jump into what we've been playing. And we'll start with Chevy. What games have you been playing in the last week?
All right, well, I'm going to get the easy ones out of the way because I can't talk about them. So I played Oddworld. Yeah, that's...
which we will be talking about this weekend.
Yes. I don't want to give my impressions so much, but I do want to say it was different than what I was expecting, and you can come back at the end of the week and figure that out.
Ooh, shit. What does he mean by that? Better come back and check that out.
Let's see. Already kind of brought it up earlier. Played some Neo 2. I've been playing it primarily co-op with Chris. Those are not games I'll play by myself. I don't really do Soulsborne games very well, but I will always do some co-op. So...
Are you, not to reveal too much, are you playing with Chris, or is Chris watching you and then fighting things if you need help?
The game balances difficulty for both people.
Oh, okay, cool. Because I remember in Neo 1...
one-shot people.
Okay, because I remember in Neo 1, you said he would like hang out while you fought things, and then he would pop in if you needed help.
Yeah. No, this game, I don't know what they did, but regardless of your level gap, the enemies are tooled to you.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's really smart that way. So yeah, we've been playing multiplayer, and we'll talk about that also
Next week.
maybe in a week. So
yeah.
Real quick, what weapons are you using?
I started with the spear because I wanted the reach, and I really liked the way the medium stance felt with it. I have switched since then to the the 3-piece staff and Omnio Magic. So, but I'm not going to go too into that.
Bro, I love the spear Neo.
I had fun with it, but the after checking out the staff, I'm kind of in love with it now. So, the other game I played was Zombie Army 4, which is on the channel. Check it out.
Yeah, we played that bitch for like 3 hours, so we're not going to talk about our opinions just yet, but you can probably gather a little bit from that if you wanted to watch that.
Yep, you can take a little peek at that. And then to get into the stuff I can talk about, I bought Loop Hero, and that is the perfect I want to watch YouTube and play a game at the same time game. I probably have put like close to 20 hours into it now. It's really easy to play.
Josh has no idea what you're talking about, so fill him in.
No, Loop Hero's that
shit.
roguelike deck builder, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's called me out.
Yeah, it's really good. I would totally recommend if you're into games where like it's just like micromanaging and then the game just kind of does its thing. It is perfect for those kind of game players. You unlock different classes. So you start off as like a warrior, and their main focus is like counterattacks and blocking and stuff like that. And then you unlock the assassin, which is about evading and like lifesteal and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
And then there's a necromancer, which you don't fight, but you constantly make better and better skeletons to fight for you. While hopefully they stay alive long enough that you don't take the hits instead. So, and then the way the game works is you get pieces so the world has been erased and you're rebuilding it. But every time you leave the map,
familiar?
It erases again.
That sounds like a Bastion.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me
erased
of Dragon Quest Builders too. 'Cause
Yeah,
you guys
kinda.
got like fucking, it's kind of like rebuilding the world.
Yeah, but in this case, literally, like there's a road and blackness,
Oh,
and so like
interesting.
you'll get forest pieces, and the perk to putting a forest piece down is you get +1 attack speed, but every 10 forest you put down, the nature will build a fake farm to try to pretend to be humans, and there'll be scarecrows that fight you when you walk through that, and then like mountains give you more hit points, but every 10 of those you put down will spawn. It'll make a giant mountain, and harpies will start flying out of the mountain and landing in random places on the map and stuff like that. So you get bonuses, but there's also consequences of those. And then certain pieces have synergy or non-synergy with each other if they're set next to each other and stuff. So it's really interesting to like try to make the right pieces that work with your character build as well. So it's a fun game. I would totally recommend it to everybody.
I'm glad you explained all that to Josh because I didn't know.
So
Now I know.
yeah, I think it's like $20 too. So like it's awesome.
Do you think I'd like it?
I think so. Especially because you can literally, like, I'll have it on one side of the screen, I'll have YouTube on the other, and I'm literally just watching YouTube. And then you can set it up to pause after combat, after a rotation, or you can just have it just go. I have it just pause after every action, and then I'll just micromanage, hit the play button again, and go back to my video.
Yeah, I sometimes get in especially if I have a lot of podcasts built up, I get in a mode where I'm like, I can't play anything story driven because I need to watch these.
Yeah.
But I want to play something, so
Yeah, it's
I do
perfect for that.
appreciate games like that. But then sometimes I also like a game where like I don't want to be distracted by fucking anything.
Yeah.
So you know,
Yeah, I think it's the perfect
situations.
multitasking game.
yeah.
So, really cool. I would totally recommend it if that sounds interesting to you guys. Yeah, anytime I'm falling behind on my YouTube videos, that's pretty much what I do. So, Final Fantasy patch 5.5 came out, part 1. So I did that. It's about 2.5 hours, 2.5 hours worth of story, and then they'll do another patch after they do the Fan Fest next month. So we'll get the conclusion to this expansion completely, and the hint of where we're going with the expansion finally.
Are you liking it?
Oh yeah. I already kind of knew not to like get my hopes up because it's part 1, so they were gonna just be like start to go and go, oh wait, to be continued, which is totally what happened. So yeah, I don't want to get too into it just because obviously I don't want to lose people, but a lot of it's very heavily themed from Final Fantasy IV, which had a lot to do with the moon and like lunar versions of the summons, and the boss of the dungeon in this patch, spoiler alert, go ahead 5 seconds if you don't want to hear it,
One, two.
was Neo or Lunar Bahamut, so which was really cool.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah. Plus the whole time you're fighting, there's a NPC that fights alongside you that we haven't seen since Heaven's Words expansion, so that was really cool to see as well. Other than that, they added the new NieR raid, which, like the last two, is really, really good fan service. The story has nothing to do with 14, though. It's a little disappointing for me in that regard, but I mean, I just have to accept that it's just fan service at this point.
Yeah.
Which is fine. When they add something to 14, I kind of hope it's like connected in some way, and this just does not feel connected at all. I still have a couple weeks because there's like a new game plus type thing at the end where like there's weekly quests that continue the story. So, and I know Yoko Taro is a very back end heavy writer, so there could be a twist that now it all makes sense. So, but it's really neat. They incorporated elements of NieR in it that I didn't expect to see in a raid. So if you're both familiar with the hacking scenes in NieR Automata, where you're the little piece, that literally you do that in the raid.
That's interesting.
There's a part of the fight where you turn into the little T and you have to shoot the opposite colors while not getting hit by them and stuff. I was like, this is wild. I did not expect to do this in 14.
That's pretty cool.
So, and then, there's another part where blocks show up. They're black and white or whatever. And then things will show up on the outside of the arena as well that are the same, black and white as well. And you want to try to like line up behind things. So like if it's a white attack, you want to get behind a white wall because it won't go through it, versus if you're at a black wall, it'll eat through it and hit you type of thing. So there's a lot of attention paying, which is really neat. Plus the longer that game goes on, the way they design bosses is constantly impressing me. Like the visuals are insane.
Yeah, it's cool. They're able to they're still able to like increase that experience and maintain creativity with it.
Yeah, well, and they just recently said too that they're going to be stopping DirectX 9 support soon because that has become their bottleneck. So
good.
So it's not the consoles, and even PS4 is not the bottleneck. It's DirectX 9. So
bye.
So that's going away soon. I do know they'll probably have to do an engine overhaul soon. They have not talked about it, but with the game still, like, they've gotten another 2 million copies sold since last time they brought up their numbers. So the game's still selling. So I imagine they'll probably have to do an engine overhaul at some point to kind of keep the game modernized. So
I think it still looks really good.
It does.
But yeah, I would not complain if they made the game look better.
Yeah, well, DirectX 12 would be awesome. So
yeah, for sure.
And I guess the PS5 beta is out now, which is available for everybody. But then if you own an account, you just get to keep the PS5 version after that. But I guess they added haptic feedback to it. So I need to try that out.
Definitely do.
Even when the chug was running, I guess you feel it in the controller. So
that's sick.
Yeah, so I need to try that out.
Playing alone.
So yeah,
that's my dream.
I've played some other stuff, but not a lot worth mentioning. I think I brought it up last time. I picked up AudioSurf 2. I've been kind of messing around with that. It's not really a lot to report there. It's just kind of like I don't want to think and I just want to listen to music type of deal. And I did not play Minecraft this week, so I've been too busy.
Fading out.
No, I have many things I need to do. I just don't have time right now.
Buy Minecraft. Anything else?
Not worth mentioning, no.
All right, fair. I'll jump in next. Can't talk about Days Gone, but I've played it. Can't talk about Oddworld Soulstorm, but I've played it. I do plan on playing those more, even though this weekend is Plus Club. That snuck up on me because I think the end of the month is next Friday. And we always like to do Plus Club on the last weekend of the month. So there's like a whole ass week after Plus Club, which is very weird. But I try to stick to that. So anyway, we'll be talking about those this weekend. So I got very little time to put more time into those games. Games I can talk about. Played Home Sweet Home Survive, which was confusing. In case you don't know what it is, Home Sweet Home Survive, or HSH Survive, is a asymmetric Dead by Daylight style game. One person plays as this ghost entity, and 4 people are trying to essentially do a ritual to either escape the entity or actually kill the entity. I picked this game up because if you're familiar with this channel, you've been around for a while, you know I like Dead by Daylight, but also Cody, who also is into Dead by Daylight, has been playing it, and he was telling me about it, and I've heard about it before, but he was like, you got to pick it up. It's like $7. So I was like, sure. And so I played it a little bit. We played it like at 4 in the morning, 3 in the morning. We're like not getting into matches as often as I would like. Although, and people in the reviews on Steam will tell you this as well, but a lot of people don't know this. The game, when you buy it and you start playing it, defaults the servers to Asia. You need to go into the options and pick wherever you're at. Europe, United States, stuff like that. Because it has mixed reviews on Steam, and most people are like, you can't get into a match. And then people are like, forget those fucking idiots. You need to switch it over to your region. So that's info that they just have not told people.
Bad communication.
I'm telling you now. So anyway, we did that. We still were having, I wouldn't say issues getting into matches, but it was taking a little longer. But it's the middle of the night, and it's a relatively small game at this point. And yeah, I wouldn't say it's better than Dead by Daylight. Not even close. But it is early in its development. Key differences is there's less emphasis on stealth in the game. It seems like people are just running and trying to juke and like hit the entity. And in Dead by Daylight, you're trying not to be seen for the most part because you can't fight back in Dead by Daylight. So you're just trying to like not get into an encounter. Whereas in this, it happens so fucking quick that if you have a stick, you can just smack them and run. Or like some Looney Tunes shit. Or you can just run and try and like juke them while they're trying to hit you. There's like little vents you can hit a button and climb through. The thing I fucking hate about that is most people know the maps very well already. So if you go through a vent, by the time I come out the other side, they're already waiting for me. And I'm like, this is fucking stupid. And I'll turn around and go back through, and then they're already waiting for me. I'm like, this is like, take this out of the game. It doesn't work. There's also holes in the floor that you can drop through that the monster can't drop through, but you take damage when you fall through them. So it's got a lot of systems that they're trying to be different with, but I'm not in love with any of them.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't know if I was having fun playing the game, but I appreciated that they were trying to do something different, but also trying to do something similar to Dead by Daylight. I do like that you can actually, as you're doing the ritual, the monster gets weaker and weaker, and you're able to start doing more damage when you hit it. A lot of the weapons, you'll hit it and just stun them, and it barely does any damage. But as you get further into the ritual, they actually start taking more damage from them, and you can actually kill them. Or you can complete the ritual and, I guess, banish them. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you know how it works exactly. I played like 8 matches. Or you can have these portals that only one person can go through at a time, and you can escape that way. So there's a lot of options, which I kind of like. But yeah, all in all, it's okay. It's in early development, and I think they could definitely do something with it if they keep working on it. Hopefully they're open to changing some ideas, because some of the ideas I think kind of fall flat. And I do wish that the maps were designed in a way that I feel like I could actually sneak around. You can duck in the game, but it's like you're like a shiny plastic looking person, and you're not sneaking from anyone. Like I never felt like I was hiding from anything in that game. And then what else? There was something else I was going to say about the game. I don't remember. It's kind of neat. Definitely keep an eye out for it if you like Dead by Daylight. But like I said, I think Dead by Daylight is a more solid game. But the game's been out for like a long time and has had a lot of work done to it. So, and it is still pretty janky, and was definitely janky when it first came out. So, this game is also, I think, Thai, the developer is. So that's interesting.
That is interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, pretty cool. Let's see. Also played. Okay, so as you guys know, we covered it recently. Resident Evil Village is coming out. I fucking missed the demo. I tried to play it Sunday, and it came out Saturday, and it was only out for like 8 hours or some shit. Now it's gone, so I have to wait for May 1st.
8 hours? What kind of bullshit is that?
I don't know. And the next one's coming out for 8 hours. There's one that lets you play in the village, and one that lets you play in the castle. And the village one, I think, came out on Saturday for 8 hours, and I was fucking busy, so I didn't get to play. And then the next one will come out for 8 hours. Hopefully I'm not busy. But then on May 1st, both of them will come out, but you only have 30 minutes to play whichever one you want to play, or both. I hate it. I think it's a fucking stupid system.
What the fuck are you doing, Capcom?
I think it only, well, they did it with Resident Evil 2 remake as well. It's just to generate talk, but it's all negative talk. So it's like a really cheap way to it doesn't even build hype. It just gets people talking about the game. It's really annoying. Anyway, I missed that. I'm just saying that because I'm going to talk about Village in a sec, and somebody's probably going to be curious if I played the demo. I didn't. So anyway, I'm anticipating Village. I'm actually very excited to play this game, and so I was looking into buying Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil 2 Remake on PC because I have them and beat them on PS4. I always wonder how they played on PC. So Capcom, when all this stuff was happening, had like this huge sale going on, and they had Resident Evil 2 Remake for $15, so I bought that fucking instantly. But for $80, I don't typically pre-order games. I don't like pre-purchasing games. But for $80, you got Resident Evil 7 and all its DLCs and Village. So I just bought that for $80. That's like a PS5 game, pretty much, price point. And so I already own Village, so I'm ready to play it when it comes out. And I bought Resident Evil 7. I've played it a little bit on PC, and surprisingly, it plays pretty well. I'm really excited to continue that. I kind of want to start from the beginning again and stream it, because I'm trying to get ready for Village. I'm really excited to play it, and the closest thing I have to play right now is Resident Evil 7. So, yeah, I bought that on PC. And plan on playing it more, but I played a little bit, and like I said, it looks great. It plays way better than I thought it would. I thought it'd feel like kind of janky, but it doesn't. And yeah, I plan on playing more. Let's see. Me and Josh played more Outriders. Getting further in that storyline, I really couldn't tell you how far I am into the game, but my character is like 19, level 19, level 20-ish area. I thought I was like 12 or 13. Then I started the game up and I was 17 or 18. And I was like, oh shit, okay, I'm a little further than I thought.
I'd love to have time to fucking play the game, especially since Josh bought it for me. So
for that early birthday,
a month early.
He's just looking for an excuse to buy the game for you. But yeah, been playing that, still enjoying it. Enemies do go from they're not bad, but they do start feeling like bullet sponges the further you get into it. But that, I think, is because the tiers go up on their own, and as the tier keeps going up, I think it's just inflating the enemy's fucking health. So that feels kind of janky. But other than that, I'm really enjoying the combat. I think it's still a really fun game, and I think it's way better co-op. Like I enjoy playing it by myself, but I think playing with people is like the way to play that game. I know it might sound obvious, but like there are people out there who like to play games on their own, and I don't mind playing games on my own, even if it's a co-op game. Like I'll go play with randos or by myself. But this game, it just feels like a more fleshed out experience when you have more than just you and other powers being used in combat. It feels like there's more going on, and it's just a better experience. I do plan on beating Outriders. I would like to do that. I also would like to beat fucking Remnant. And yeah, don't have much to report on there outside of still enjoying it, still having fun, and yeah. Any thoughts on Outriders before I move forward?
No, I think you're right. Having the co-op in there makes it exponentially better. Just from, like when you, I, and the third person was playing, they would have their turret out and I would have mine out. Plus, like, you would be up there getting in their faces and stuff like that. And seeing all that cohesive powers together was actually fun. It's like we're all like taking care of our own things and doing our own things. And even though they and I were playing the same class, we each had all different abilities, and it definitely changed how we played with one another. So I do recommend playing that game with people.
Yeah.
Whether it's because that, in my opinion, is the full experience.
It feels like the Outriders experience, what it was intended. Yeah, I'm playing the Trickster, and like I like a lot of the teleport moves, and I like fly in there, kill a bunch of people. But for a while there, I was like playing around with this ability where you leave this little marker, and you're able to go in there, and then you have a time limit, but you can come back to your marker.
Okay.
At any point. It's kind of nice during boss battles because I can put it down, and if like a big circle shows up where I need to dodge, I just teleport back.
Get out, yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice. But it's funny because like they would be in the back often, and like I would just fly up in there, start shooting people and shit, and I'd be like reloading, getting ready to shoot a guy, and I see his head just go off, like fly off and shit. And I'm like, okay, so they're like over there shooting, and then I'd like teleport back, and they're still behind cover. So I felt like I'm just kind of like jumping in between, the front line and behind cover and stuff like that. And it is cool because while I'm doing all that blipping around shit, they're just shooting and killing stuff. So it's like, without them there, it's just me like going, whoa, fuck, I'm about to die. I gotta teleport, get the hell out of here. There's just more going on, and it feels more rounded and better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's plus like I got that healing move, so you'd like teleport out and you're like, fuck, I'm getting fucked up. So I'd heal and it'd heal everybody, and then the third person we're with would come in with, one of their moves, and I don't really remember what they were using other than the turret. As long as it wasn't that stupid.
For anybody who doesn't know, what class were you playing?
Techromancer. I was playing the Devastator, and then as I was playing alone, and I stopped for a second, I was like, holy fuck, his moves are boring. They're just straight up like this. It kind of pissed me off about that game, and it happened in Borderlands 1 too. There's like a designated tank character, but there's no need for a tank.
Yeah,
like it's just like they don't give them anything that if they're like a support character or something that like helped out the party, like a buffer, that'd be cool. But like just them and their shitty rock moves just isn't as fun to play.
That is a weird trap that a lot of games fall into. They'll confuse a tank with a character who's just more survivable.
Yeah.
Whereas like a game that actually has a designated tank who's like essentially a support for the group. Anyone who plays an MMO knows what I'm talking about. And some games actually do have legit tanks in them. It's way more gratifying for the person playing the tank, but it's also more exciting for the group to have somebody who you can rely on to take the hits. But then some games are like, well, this is a tanky character. Okay, well, is it a tanky character or a tank? Because like, does this character just like take rounds better than the other ones, but like really doesn't have anything that benefits the fucking group? That's something I see a lot. Like you said in Borderlands, there's characters that you could build up their HP quite a bit, but like in a game where everybody's just shooting shit and everybody's got all sorts of moves for themselves to survive off of.
Well, that game,
you're not a tank for the group. You're just tanky.
Yeah. Well, that game emphasizes healing through attacking.
Yeah, the trickster, you kill people up close, you heal.
Yeah.
So I need to be up in people's faces to stay alive.
Yeah. I know the little
tank's not needed for that.
No, and when I played the beta, I played the pyro. Is it pyromancer? I don't know
Something
what
like
their
that,
name is, but
nobody's got the balls to fucking play that character.
That I think their heal was anyone who died while they were afflicted with fire, you'd get health back. So
yeah, it's like big chunks of health too, because like with the Devastator also, if somebody would die near me, I would get almost like a quarter to like a whole third of my health back.
Yeah, they want you busy.
But like,
so
yeah, they want you in their shit.
Yeah.
But the Techromancer, it's like a very small sliver of life leech for all damage that they do. So you could toss your turret out and then hide behind cover, and it'll continually heal you, but it's not big, huge chunks.
It doesn't feel like big, huge chunks of the trickster either, but when you're up there just murdering people quickly, it goes up quickly. It just keeps you, it feels like Doom. It's like you got to keep moving and killing.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of, your health is just kind of bouncing back and forth. It's almost like vampire mode. Like, so yeah, it's interesting. Because I was wondering about the other ones who had like the more particular things that they have to do to heal. It makes sense that they would get more back because it's less often.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is, like with the Devastators, you got to kill them close also. So like when you and I were just in everybody's shit, like I was constantly being healed by guys you killed, by guys I killed, and stuff like that. So it was like they played really well off of one another. But yeah, that whole tank thing without a game needing a tank is just doesn't make that character fun. So
yeah.
like Diablo does the same thing. There's like the Crusader in Diablo 3 was super tanky, but it doesn't kill anything.
Yeah,
You're
it's just a play style. It's not for the team.
yeah, and like you
Just
get
like when
into
you got
like
that
end
shield.
game.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, like you get into end game stuff, and yeah, things will never kill you, but like
Yeah.
it's taking fucking days to kill anything. So
Yeah. Yeah, which is kind of annoying. And so if you're not helping the team with your tankiness and you're just staying alive but killing shit slowly, it doesn't sound like a fun time. If you're not gonna not do a lot of damage but not take a lot of damage, at least it's more fun when you're actively doing things to keep your team alive, because now you have an objective. You're not just like, well, this is just PvP in any MMO where people just don't die very quickly. Well, a lot of MMOs, not every MMO. But yeah, like you got that shield in, and you're like trying to use it in a team way, which I can appreciate. But I was like the whole time, like, I'm Trickster, dude. I'm gonna be teleporting all over the fucking place. So it wasn't, not that you weren't trying to find a way to be like team oriented, but like it just didn't work for what I was doing. So like it almost felt useless as like a game design. Whereas like my dude has like a bubble shield. Why doesn't your character have the bubble shield?
or maybe give him like his moves are his moves, but then they can do like a secondary, and like the secondary is something different. Like I can use the shield myself, or give the shield to somebody else, or something like that. Like
Well, they should give your character the bubble shield, and my character has like a blade. So if they want like a block bullet move, they should have one where he pulls that blade out and starts blocking while he approaches people. And then when you get close to a dude, you can let go and swing it and hit all of them. That'd be sick.
Yeah, and it just gives you like a chunk of the damage blocked as like fucking
So you can just
damage.
run a dude's block, like you're intending to get in there and hit him, and it gives you that moment of getting in there close. It could be another way to get into combat without teleporting and have a different kind of build. See, I'm already
Or like
coming
an
up with ideas I
equilibrium
should've done.
thing where you're damaging other people with the bullets or something like that. Or like
Yeah,
you're
it'd be cool. Bounce
ricocheting
them
it
back or something. That'd be sick. And it would be in character with my character. But I got a bubble shield, which I'm not going to fucking complain. It's very useful. And he does time manipulation, so it makes sense. But at the same time, I'm looking at your time manipulation little glass window you got in front of you. I'm like, why does he have that, but I have this big fucking bubble shield that's like awesome? It's really weird. It's a really weird design choice.
Yeah, I just think it was a little bit of they fell in the same trope that all those games do.
Yeah.
Like even like Warframe kind of does the same thing. Like
Oh yeah.
every frame's survivable. You have the tanky ones like Rhino and Frost and stuff, but like they don't. I mean, like everything kills, so maybe that's kind of a bad example, but it's the same kind of concept.
All these games, like, every character kills because they're shooters essentially. They're action games.
But like, is the tank a tank, or is it just there with tanky moves?
Yeah.
So
no,
that's why I switched over to Techromancer, because long range is something I never do in games, and with the mouse and keyboard, those sniper shots are fucking chef's kiss. So it's
a whole different world, man.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Well, that and their movements when they get out of cover, they always look the exact same way, so their heads aren't like bobbing around. So it's really easy to get headshots and stuff like that. And so it's just
and like Borderlands, that game's satisfying when you actually hit those fucking spots that you're trying to hit.
Very kinetic, experience when you pop someone's head off. You're like, yeah, I fucking got that guy.
Yeah, it makes a big difference. It's like I'll run up to somebody as the Trickster with a machine gun. I'm unloading their body, and then I'll like be like, wait a second. I just like aim a little higher to their head, and they start melting. I'm like, okay, there it is. So
exactly.
But yeah, anything else you want to say on Outriders before I move on?
No, I am enjoying playing it, and maybe I'll start a pyro character.
Yeah, I want to do it too.
Go through that mountain a third fucking time.
Yeah, I want to try the Pyromancer, because everyone I talk to either like, yeah, I liked it, and then they're not playing it, or they're like, yeah, I fucking hate it. I'm like, man, nobody will play that thing.
I think the problem it has is that it's expected.
Well, it's weird too, because like it's the only elemental fucking, I almost said Warframe, fucking
class
Outrider.
My big problem there is that everyone always just defaults to fire, man. Like,
yeah, it's weird.
Techromancer actually is Frost. Like his turret freezes people. his melee freezes people, and a lot of his builds are based around him freezing people. And like what they do is
Yeah,
like
I
when I hit
noticed
people
that.
with my melee, I freeze them, I give them poison, and I fucking give them weak. So
There
they
was
start.
a part me and you played when it's just me and you, where all these enemies were running out. Is where the guy was in the outhouse, and like we
Mhm.
had one part where like you went down, and then fucking I was trying to get you up, and then I got overwhelmed, and I went down. And we tried it again. I think we died on it like twice or something like that.
Mhm.
I did that same scenario with Sarah, and she was also playing that character, but she had this freeze turret. And so many different times, something would be jumping in the air at me, and I go to shoot it, and it would just get frozen in the air. I thought she was just
Mhm.
fucking pinpoint accurately shooting them, but I noticed it was like her turrets were freezing. And I was like, "Holy shit, that's useful!" Like it was giving
It was
some crowd control.
yeah, it's way better. Like if you throw it out and you can aim where you throw it. So like sometimes I'll just chuck it way in the fucking back, where they are,
Hmm.
and then it'll just be like freezing them, and I'm just shooting them in the head while they're frozen. And like with bosses, they don't come up with it's almost OP because they don't come up. They don't have a resistance to the frost, so they'll
Good, fuck them.
freeze,
There's no
and then you
fall
can
off.
just no, and then they'll freeze, and
Weird.
then you break it, and then they start to shoot, and then they get like one shot off, and your turret goes, mm-mm, and they freeze again. And then if they get close, you can melee them. They freeze again. It's like you can almost just
Good,
stun lock the fuck out of them and cheap them out.
love it. It's my favorite thing ever. Um, yeah. Oh, speaking of in the back, fucking, there's this one thing that happened where we were playing, all three of us, and I was doing my teleport move where you essentially just look at an enemy, you hit the button, and you actually teleport behind them, and they actually have to turn around and look at you. So, which I appreciate because I played other games where you teleport behind enemies, and they're just like looking at you, shooting as soon as you show up, and I'm like, okay. So I appreciate that. There's actually an animation there and stuff. I was doing that though, and I teleported behind a door that hadn't opened yet. I've done this part before. You fight all these guys, and then eventually the doors open and reinforcements run in.
Okay.
I just teleport in an area, and there's like nobody there. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then I look at the door and it's shut. I'm like, oh wait. I'm behind the door. And then all of a sudden I see guys go next to me and just like spawn. And he like looks at me. I'm like, what the fuck? And then another guy spawns to my right, and they're all kind of getting ready to go out the door. And I'm like, what? And I start just unloading on them. And they start shooting back at me. And then the doors open. And I look out there, and they're all out there shooting the other guys. I'm like, this is fucking stupid. I didn't want to see behind that curtain, so kind of ruined the magic. So I'm just out there, and they're spawning next to me, just getting ready to go, and then they realize I'm there, and they're like, "Wait, you're not supposed to be here." I'm like, "I know." And fucking, we start shooting each other up. It was like that scene in goddamn Smoking Aces
So there's a glitch in the Matrix.
In the fucking
in
elevator.
the elevator, dude. We're just blasting each other. So yeah, moving on. Played Hell Let Loose, and the reason I want to bring this up, I'm not going to talk about too much, but if you don't know what this is, it's a World War II game, indie developed, with a huge emphasis on the hierarchy of command in war. You can play as a squad member, you're in the squad, or you're a squad leader, and then there are like generals, and then there's like an overall dude, and they're essentially just barking commands down the line, and then it's up to your leaders to be telling you what's going on. And yeah, other than that, it's kind of like Battlefield, but it's more realistic. You can die in like one shot all the time. The pace is very slow. The default movement is basically a walk in most games, but it's kind of like a walking quickly. Then when you run, it's like a realistic run where you're just kind of like shuffling forward, but you're barely moving. And yeah, it's got these huge fucking battlefields, all these points you have to take and hold. That's one thing I really appreciate about it. A lot of these games, you're either playing domination where you just take flags and then you leave and run to the next thing. And this, it's got like sections of the map you're like taking, and then they're trying to take them back. So it feels like actively the battlefield is changing.
It's literally moving the front lines like back and
Yeah,
forth.
exactly. Like, and then they'll flank around and start taking like the upper right side and start wrapping behind you and taking points, stuff like that. So it feels like the battle is constantly changing, and the battles last a long time. But yeah, it's a little rough around the edges, but it's really good. I'd like to play it some more. Me and you played this, and And yeah, we essentially were trying to learn it as we played. I took a commander position pretty quickly, and I was trying to communicate with the higher ups, which I actually really liked. People who were playing serious. It was like a lot of fun. You had an interesting situation that I'm sure you'll want to tell us about. But yeah, it was cool. I had people going like they'd be like Echo, and that was my team, fucking Echo Squad, wherever. What's going on over there? And I'm like, there's fucking armor over here. We need fucking reinforcements. Or they're like, hey, we need someone to back up Charlie. And I'm like, well, we're like right next to him, so we'll head over there. They're like, okay. And then they'd be like, okay, well, since you're in this area, we've already taken that spot, but I need you to hold it. And I just tell my guys, I'm like, okay, what we're doing is we're holding this until I get other, fucking command. And everybody's like, oh, okay. And it's funny too, in games like that, as soon as you start giving people orders, they're just on board. People are just fucking around until you go, okay, this is what we're doing. They're like, okay, yeah, let's do something cooperative. Let's work together. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to tell you what to do.
I wish it worked
when I get told. Yeah, it works in FPS. Is amazing, dude. I used to get friend requests nonstop in games because I would just start barking orders at people, and I just start getting friend requests. And I'm like, it's amazing how much people just want order in a multiplayer game. Because a lot of people just run around shooting and being assholes and not doing the objective and stuff like that. And I'm just like really team oriented. So it's a game I would like to get really familiar with because I would like to. I'd like to try and be at the tippy top, even though that seems like a lot of fucking coordination. I ran into the dude who's like running our whole thing, and he was just squatting in the middle of a fucking, in an alleyway between some houses, just squatting there on the radio, just talking to everybody and stuff, while there's just like, 2 blocks over, just gunshots and shit. I'm like, this is horrifying. But yeah, it's a really cool game. It looks pretty decent. I think it plays really well. Like I said, it's indie developed, so it's got some jank to it, but it's a lot better than it should be, and it's a really cool idea. And I love the pacing, and I love, there's all these tactical shooters out there. I've played a lot of them, but I really love how much emphasis this game has on the chain of command and communication. It really makes it feel like you are in a battle that, like, even though you captured this area, it's not even remotely close to over, and this can change at any moment. There's one time where, like, the other team had this one area just on lock, and we were, like, approaching from one direction, our whole fucking team. And I was like sitting on the side of the road, and I just tell people, I'm like, don't go down that road. They're fucking just killing people. And someone would go running down, they just get shot. And I'm like, I kept stopping people. I'm like, stop going down this road, dude. They're just fucking murdering people. Like, don't go out there. And finally, the guy above me was like, okay, we're going to start flanking from the southeast. And I just told my guys, I'm like, all right, guys, we're going to flank around to the southeast and approach from there. And we all moved around there while other people were trying to push on that street. And we ended up fucking pushing through and taking that spot. And very gratifying feeling. I fucking love that shit. So, Josh, what happened with you?
So, you can leave the commander position if you want to be a soldier in somebody else's, squad. But if you choose, like if your commander position's empty for your squad and you choose to be it, you can't get off of it. Like, I was like, I don't want to fucking do this anymore. And you're regulated to like a role. You have a certain loadout. Because there's actually roles in the game, and they each do their own fucking crazy thing. So the commander is able to throw like smoke grenades. Squad commander is able to throw like smoke grenades, have like mobile deploy points, and like shit like that to try and get their team in the game and their squad in the game. So I just decided to take it to see what was going on, and right when I clicked on it, like, you're just given the comms, from the higher ups, from the commander, and I didn't get any order, but like I was just trying to. I set up a mobile command base, and I was just trying to take a point, and we were getting pretty close, and then all of a sudden, over the commander goes, "Bravo, what the fuck are you doing?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Why aren't you approaching this point?" I was like, "You didn't tell me to do that." And he goes, "I fucking told you to do that." And I was like, "Whoa." I was like, "All right, man." And so I went over to squad comms because squad can't hear what you're saying to the commander. I was like, all right, well, the commander just reamed my ass. So I was like, let's go do this. We all moved over there and held this point. And yeah, I was just like, all right, man, Jesus. But
No, the people who take it serious take it fucking serious, and you can definitely tell either the LARPers or people who have actually been in the military because they are all on the same page in the way that they talk. And I'm just like, should I just like talk like them, or should I talk like the normie that I am? Like, the fuck are they doing? They could just be LARPers who really like that kind of shit, but some of those guys are like talking like in code and shit. And I'm like, okay, I'm not.
like
I'm
one
not
of those
that.
things, like that game is almost like Saving Private Ryan all the fucking time because like there's this dude running across this bridge and I put a few rounds in him with my light machine gun and he just fell. And I was like, because they don't tell you if they die,
There's no kill
there's no
confirmed.
kill
Yeah.
stream. Yeah, there's no hit markers or anything. I shot over there and he just falls into the bushes and I was like, I don't know if he's dead.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. There's a bunch
sent
of
one of my guys
tactical
over there
shooters
to
like that
fucking
that I love. I love not knowing if I killed the guy or not because you actually have
and
to
like
like look.
yeah, and then the proximity chat is like really good because if you die, you're just done. So like we were like running up this trench in Caratan. It was like a drainage ditch full of water, and we're just, which you can crouch and run, which I think is kind of cool.
Dude, all games need that. I fucking love when a game's got the balls to do that.
Yeah, and so we're all just crouching through this, like we're in the jungles of Nam, and like and this two of my squad come up over the berm, and they go, "Oh my god!" And then they got halfway through armor, and all of a sudden you hear it, and they just blow up from the tanks, and I was like, "Oh my god!" And I marked them, and I was like, "Commander, I need an airstrike on Bravo mark now." And all of a sudden you hear they're just like bombing the armor.
Yeah, I
Like I
love
just
that.
send up
That it's not like a kill streak. You literally have to tell somebody where you need it, and then somebody fucking sends it. Essentially.
yeah, you tell the commander, and like the commander can give you supplies because the engineer can build sandbags and stuff like that, so you have
And
someplace
resupply.
yeah, and it's wild.
Yeah, you
So
actually, it's like an operation. You have to like be working together and ask for shit to be sent in and stuff like that. That's pretty cool.
yeah, and like squads can't have like they can only have like one anti-tank guy. They can only have one heavy machine gunner. They can only have they can have 9 assault dudes or something like that. But
Yeah, if you're like a rifleman, you're using like a carbine or a fucking Garand or something like that.
2 medics or some shit like that. But I really enjoy that game, but for new people, it's daunting as hell.
Oh, dude, when we first started playing, we were just fucking running around, and then I'd look back and there's like 5 people following me. I'm like, don't follow me. I just started this game. But then I realized that was the fucking squad commander, and then somebody's like calling me up, and I'm like, oh shit, I gotta put my big boy pants on. I took on the wrong role. Because all the squads were full, so I was like, I'll just make one. And then I was the commander, and then people start joining it, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm responsible for these guys.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it was a wild ride. And like you almost got to be in like a certain kind of mood to play that game because
Yeah, I haven't played it much since we played it. I played it a couple times, but when I do play it, I really enjoy it. But that's a game that like you need to have like time to play a match because they last a while. But you also have to be in like the mental state to have that kind of slow pace. You're gonna be sitting here for a while, waiting on shit, tactical combat. Like you have to be in the mood for that. Or getting shot once and just dying instantly, just running across the field and just like, dead.
there's nothing more. Yeah, and that like it's not that it's frustrating because there is like a spawn timer and there is like it's upwards like 45 seconds sometimes. You're just like, come on, man, let me in. But nothing is more irritating than you're like running all the way across the field. You're just hanging out with a bunch of with your bros. To get to that part took like 5-6 minutes, and all of a sudden you're just dead.
Yeah,
And you're like, oh my god! And then you respawn back to the place you were, run all the way across that field again. It's just like there are times when I'm like, holy shit, can I just not die for these few minutes just so I can fucking try and get somewhere in this fucking game or see somebody?
the fucking one time me and you played around the time that you were like getting ready to hop out because you're going to bed or whatever the fuck. Me and you were at a fence line, and there's some shit going on across the field in town. And I'm sitting there, and I got my medic across by the building, and you're next to me, and then I hear that fucking headshot metal sound, like tink, and you just kind of drop on the ground. And I'm just like, fuck. And I'm like, medic. And the guy's like, okay. He's like, I'm on my way. And the guy's like laying on the ground, like crawling and shit. And you're just like laying there, just hanging out. And he's like crawling over to you fucking slowly. And he finally gets you. And as soon as you get there, or as soon as he gets there, you just go and disappear. I was like, did you fucking respawn? You're like, oh, I gotta go to bed. He's like disappeared. I was like, oh, you wasted my fucking medic's time. Holy shit. That guy risked his whole life to fucking get over there. And you're just like, I'm out of here. But yeah, it's a fun game. I definitely recommend it. Even if you're thinking about it, you're like, yeah, is that one good? It is good. I like it a lot. And there is definitely stuff you have to learn. But once you start getting it down, it's pretty gratifying.
It's $30, so it might be a little pricey, but
it's pretty cheap too, though. That's that perfect middle ground.
There's a lot there, and it's early access, so they're still adding to it. So
it feels like it's. I feel like $30 is a good price for it. It feels like you can get a lot of gameplay out of that, especially if you're looking for that specific kind of game. You want that World War II tactical experience. $30 is a steal. So yeah, I'm going to move on. Let's see, because I got 2 more games to talk about. Volcanoids, I'll keep this one short. This is another game that me and you played together. And it is a fucking crafting survival game where you are in a submarine at the beginning, and then you're on an island, and depending on the difficulty that you pick, there is a volcano in the center of the island that is going to erupt, and when it erupts, it just eviscerates everything that's on the surface level. So what you're trying to do is you are building or finding and taking and claiming these drill mobiles that you can customize. So you can build, different kinds of crafting stations, weapons, all sorts of shit, and you can drive these drills into the ground. So when you're underground, eruption happens, you don't die. But when you're underground, you can actually pilot underground. You get this map. It's a top-down map where you can drive around underground, and there's different points where you can come back up above ground, but also there's like a lava down there you got to watch out for, which will overheat your drill and blow you up. There's resources to find down there. There's abandoned drills down there you can fucking do stuff with. And pretty much the core loop of the game is you are exploring, you're mining for resources to essentially upgrade your drill, upgrade your stuff. And the island, as far as I know, is in 4 sections of resources and difficulty. So you're just trying to get further and further on the island. It does feel very early access, but the concept is absolutely there. I don't know if I'm super stoked to play it right now, but I am stoked to see where it goes. Because me and Josh played for quite a bit of time. We got
2-3 hours.
Yeah, we got the idea down. Mm-hmm. I felt like I pretty much got what was going on with it. And overall it's kind of cool. And it's also steampunk, which is interesting. It's kind of old timey. You got like an old timey pistol revolver, but then like you're fucking around with these steam drill machines, and there's all these like weird robots running around they have to fight. And the eruption's really neat looking. You can, when you're underground, look through a periscope and kind of see above ground. And I watched the mountain erupt, and it's just like it just blows up at the top, and then the pyroclastic flow just goes whoosh, just across the island, and then it's like super foggy and you can barely see, and then it starts clearing, and all the lush grass and trees is just eviscerated, and it's just ash on the ground, and the trees are just destroyed. And then over time, like the ash will slowly disappear and the grass starts coming back. Okay, so it's kind of a reset cycle.
Yeah, I've seen parts of it, ironically on TikTok, out of all places. So
yeah, it's weird. That's weird. I post gaming shit on TikTok. No one gives a fuck on there. But then a bunch of other people do. So apparently people are trying to...
I was going to say, everybody and their brother posts gaming shit on TikTok, so it's kind of a crowded market.
Where they try to fucking teach you how to use a computer, and it's something stupid like, if you hit Control Delete, I'm like, okay, this is stupid.
But it's also not YouTube. It hasn't been around for as long as YouTube, so there's the algorithm still allows random shit to be seen, which is nice. Whereas YouTube, you fucking upload a video, you better goddamn be networking with people or hoping that the algorithm will actually show your video to anybody.
I'm one hoping everyone's hitting that like button like 1,000 times. So
Yeah,
that
because
YouTube goes,
YouTube,
oh, okay.
YouTube does not want you discovered at this point. They want Jimmy Kimmel and other people discovered.
Old blackface Kimmel, dog.
Yep. So anyway, yeah, TikTok actually, I'll upload a little video and fucking I'll get like 500 views on it. I'm like, that's crazy. That would never happen on YouTube unless I like got on the algorithm and it was like a cyberpunk video when the hype was building for that or something like that. It has to be the right place, right time, half luck, half the right stuff like that. So TikTok is truly still kind of the Wild West.
All the stupid little fucking things you have to, like, every YouTuber asks you to do, every one of them. And there's a reason they're asking for that. So
Yeah. So anyway, way off topic. I don't have much more to say on Volcanoids. I think it's a neat concept. I can see where they're going with it. I hope they add more to it, and I will definitely play it more. But right now it still feels very early. But like I said, that concept is very, very strong. You really, you know what they're trying to do with it, and I think they're nailing it. But I like to see some longevity worked on.
I'd like to see a little more of a tutorial process, because you start and you're like, and they're like, hey, make this, have fun. And then you're like, wait, what the fuck? And then our drill blew up. And I was like, so we're just don't have a drill anymore?
Yeah, exactly.
And then like I found this boss ass one, and then it turns out to claim it, you got to rip half of the shit out of it.
Dude, yeah, we were destroying that thing forever. And then I got fucking really tired. I was just standing in a field watching, like half falling asleep. And you were just over there, and finally, like 5 hours later, you're like, all right, it's claimed. And I'm like, okay. I just walked in there and it just looked like a fucking piece of shit. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it was just full of holes and shit.
Yeah, we had to repair the whole thing. You have to destroy the bitch to fucking even take it.
Like you get like 3 or 4 cars on that thing eventually, and it's just this. It looks
it turns into like a train eventually.
Yeah, it's fucking this insane thing. So I would like to see it get to that point, but like, fuck, trying to figure out what does what is a giant pain in my ass.
I actually appreciated the tutorial when I first started the game. I'm like, well, this actually is a pretty thorough tutorial. And then it stops being a tutorial, and more so it just gives you missions, and then you're guessing what the mission wants you to do.
Mm-hmm.
It just goes, do this. And I'm like, but how do you do that? And I start clicking on consoles. I'm like, I think this is it. Or just have like a name for like something like tier 1, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what's that? It doesn't explain to you what it is.
Yeah, it's like, build this. And I'm like, okay. And it's like, put it in here. I'm like, what is that?
Yeah, what's it doing? And then you're like, why am I putting it in there? Yeah, just nothing. It's just like, dude, it's just like stepping you through something but won't give you the info on it. I'm like, this is the worst way to teach anyone anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool game. Would like to see further what they do with it.
Yeah.
You have anything else you want to say on it?
No. I'd really like to get more into it though, because that whole time I was like, I don't know if I'm having as much fun as I think I could here.
I was more interested than I was having fun. Because I think the concept is cool, but the game itself, I was like, it's still kind of hollow. But yeah, there's more to do for sure, and I hope they add more. But yeah, I'll come back to it. And then the last game that I've pretty much primarily been playing this whole month is First Class Trouble, which if you don't know what that is, it is starting to pop off now. I'm seeing some of the big streamers playing it. It is a Among Us style game of deception where there are 6 people in every game, and 2 of those people are something they call personoids, which are essentially these robots. They look like humans. So the story essentially is these people live on a ship. I forgot the name of the ship. And the AI is trying to kill everybody. So it starts sucking up the oxygen. There's personoids trying to stop the people from stopping the AI from doing this, while the other people are trying to stop the AI. There's 3 stages. You start at the living quarters, and then the second stage is a random stage. Could be a pool, could be a casino, could be a bunch of stuff. These all have different hazards, different tools, different ways to kill people. And then the last stage is kind of the big confrontation where there's like 2 things you can do, figure shit out, and then go across a bridge and finally shut off the AI, which takes all the humans to do. So yeah, like I said, 2 personoids, 4 people, and you are essentially trying to figure out who the 2 personoids are, and the personoids are trying to dispatch the people trying to figure out who they are. The game has a lot of interesting things going on for the genre, considering the personoids cannot directly kill people without a syringe, which are limited. They have to find the syringe, take the syringe, and they can kill one person with one syringe. But you have to take it, and people will see you take it, so you got to be very sneaky about that. You have to coordinate with your other personoid to do that kind of stuff. Otherwise, 2 personoids can't kill anybody, but in the game, to dispatch anybody, 1 person can grab somebody and takes a second person to choke them out and kill them. So 2 personoids can't do that. Only 2 humans or 1 human impersonator can do that. So anyway, you're going through these stages as a human. You're looking for logs that give you information on who may be the personoid. It doesn't tell you directly. Sometimes it's pretty fucking straight up info though. But it gives you all these hints to kind of play around with. And it turns into a lot of mayhem. People are just killing the wrong people sometimes, or they're trusting the wrong person. And it's a really fun game. This genre has always really appealed to me, but I haven't found the one that's really done it for me. So Among Us, I think, is a fun game. I think it's really simplistic, which I love about it. It's the simplicity that's really cool. It's just get in there, chop a dude in half, and keep moving while everybody's going like, wait, what happened? And they hit a button and you can talk. Project Winter is kind of interesting, although for some reason that game attracts a lot of assholes. In that game, you're in a cabin and you're trying to escape this winter hellscape, and there's people trying to stop you from escaping. And it's pretty similar, but the objectives in that for the people trying to escape are kind of confusing, specifically for anybody who's kind of new to the game. So it's really hard to get a team to work together in that game.
I thought at the end of the day, you're trying to collect enough fuel.
There's all sorts of objectives you have to do to complete, and they're random.
I saw a random clip where someone, the killer had locked away all the fuel, so they couldn't win.
Well, they probably needed fuel for something, yeah. There's a lot of traps usage in that game. And then games as simple as push the button that's on Jackbox. It's a similar premise where someone's just top down. They make people do tests, and everybody kind of watches and sees who's failing the test and who's passing the test and kind of decides. So the genre is really cool. The thing I really love about this game is it's a third-person game, so you're in the action. It's got proximity chat, so you're talking constantly. There's a lot of conversations, a lot of fun that's had just there alone, although you're going to, of course, run into assholes. But there's an action element to it that's very simplistic. Some people were saying they almost wish it was more skill-based. I'm like, no. I actually really dig that when you throw a bottle, it just locks onto somebody. Somebody said that they wanted it to be pinpoint accurate. You got to throw it. I'm like, yeah, but that kind of would push it away from people who want to play more casually. Yeah. And I think that's the thing I love about it is the game is not about the action. It's about the deception. The action is just there as a tool. And I really dig that. But also you can defend yourself, which I really dig as well. You can do that in Project Winter as well, but it's janky feeling. It doesn't feel as good because it's top down and you're aiming in a weird way with crossbows and all sorts of shit. Although one time me and 4 people chased the imposter through the woods with machine guns and rifles, and we're just shooting at him through the trees and telling him we're going to kill him. And he's just running, and finally we shot him to the point where he's just on the ground, and walked up to him fucking, got any last words to say? And he said something, and we shot and killed him. I was like, that was intense. That was crazy. But anyway, in this game, there's tennis rackets, there's bottles to throw, you can push people. Pro tip, if you look up high and you press the push button, you can launch people into the air, which is very useful with getting people over railing. So now you know. And yeah, the game's a lot of fun. I recently did a highlights video of some of my early gameplay. I'm a lot better now at the game than I was then. And I have another highlight video I'm working on now, and then I think I'm going to try and stream it. I'm apprehensive about that because I can't control people say, but I'd say about 99.5% of people are pretty tame. But every once in a while you get someone going in there saying some shit that you would definitely get in trouble on Twitch for or YouTube. So I'm a little worried about that. But I think it'd be a fun game to stream. It's really fun to play with friends, even though I feel bad sometimes because me, Josh, and Cody played it together, and I don't know. I can be persuasive sometimes, and Cody a lot of times gets eliminated pretty quickly when I start talking. He's been killed at like the first level or the first voting phase so many times it's ridiculous. Or in the second place, someone just comes up and chokes him out because something was said and someone's like, we can't trust him. His name's also Blood Boy, so I think maybe people see blood in his name and they're instantly like, that's the fucking guy. Although my name's I'm Baby, which I think fucking works very well for me because people see me and they're like, hey, baby. So for some reason, people love just having a guy named Baby. But yeah, it's really fun. It's really fun. It's fun to play with friends. It's nice that you can get like up to 6 people together, so you just play with friends only. Or if you have like 3 people together, you get into a match, you play together, and then when the match ends, you're still together, so you can just keep playing with randoms constantly. And yeah, games like this are really interesting too because you get to see real life psychopaths play out their fantasies. Hopefully, only their fantasies in game. I think it was my second match ever. I was a human, and this is the weird thing. So the personoids, if they press 1, can see through walls, and they'll see red where the other personoid is, and they'll see green for the humans. And then they can, of course, see all the things that can hack to make the oxygen go out faster. But if you press 2, you can talk only to the other personoid. It'll mute you to everybody else, and then the personoids can talk with each other to kind of plan things out. I think Josh has been utilizing that quite a bit because he always has these fucking plans concocted that I'm assuming he's talking with people about.
Usually not.
Oh, really?
And I don't usually talk to that person.
There's a couple times where he did some shit. I'm like, were they planning that the whole fucking time? Like, what the hell? I was going to say Josh likes to manipulate logs, but he did it one time. I'm just really fucking pissed about it. The game, luckily, we all go into it knowing it's not personal, but holy shit, that game, I feel like with the wrong people could ruin some relationships. I've been the personoid, got Cody killed, which is my fucking objective, and he was like annoyed with me that I had done that. I'm like, that's what I'm supposed to fucking do.
That's the game.
But I felt like that too, dude. Fucking, oh shit, what did you do?
So in the last area, it was me, another guy, and Cody.
Oh yeah,
and
that pissed me the fuck off.
And like I grabbed the log and I was like, it says, oh no, it was Cody, me, and you, I think. And then
there's a 4th
like,
person.
Oh yeah. Anyway, I was like, Blood Boy and blah 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 are on the same team, and we knew that other guy was a personoid.
Mm-hmm.
So we looked at Cody, and he's like, wait. And we just choked him out and killed him. But I told you guys the wrong names. So it was.
Oh, me. No, you're talking about that, which did happen. That was annoying. But the thing that really pissed me off is me and you were both humans, and Cody was a personoid, and sometimes Cody just doesn't say anything. So he's just sitting there, and I will get in the investigation. I start fucking pointing fingers. Someone says something weird. I'm like, that's fucking weird, dude. And people are like, that is kind of weird. I'm like, it's fucking weird. And people are like, well, what are you saying? I'm like, no, I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying keep a fucking eye on that guy. That's all I'm saying. So we're getting like that, and like I'll start calling out fucking Josh instantly. I'm like, I won't call him Josh typically, but I call him his screen name or username. But I'm like fucking blah blah's doing some weird shit, and Josh is like, you're doing weird stuff, and I'm like, no, you're doing weird shit. Like we're doing that. And there's one match where at the very end, and we're all fucking bickering about bullshit, and Cody's just standing in the background, sitting there like fucking just salad fingers, just hanging out, and we're all arguing and shit. And I think Josh is the fucking killer, and he's thinking I'm the fucking killer. And like I'm standing over, and the whole time I'm like, Josh is the fucking killer. He's gonna try and kill me. I know it because I'm on his shit. I'm fucking trying to get him. And it's funny because after the match, he told me. I found out he's the human too, so he's probably thinking the exact same fucking thing about me. And Josh comes running over, and as soon as he gets near me, I know he's gonna do some shit, and he fucking shoves me towards the railing. And I just hit the railing. I didn't go over it. And instantly I just get up and I'm like, see, you fucking trying to kill me. And Josh's like, whoa, hold on. He's like, that I didn't mean to. And I'm like, bullshit. You're trying to fucking kill me. And we started just going crazy. And by the end, Cody like revealed himself to be the personoid, and like I think he dropped somebody from the from the bridge. Somebody else died, and there's like one other dude, and Cody didn't know what to do. He was on the other side of the bridge, and he's like, "What? How do I get over there?" Like he's like hitting the button or whatever, and the guy died from losing oxygen. So he technically won, but he just like was like almost not involved that whole match.
Yeah, because he went over to the other side. He dumped you in the pit because you have to hold on to the button to keep the bridge up. Because if you let go, it'll kill that person.
Yeah.
So I was like, it wasn't fucking me. I was like, blah blah blah. I scanned that guy because the logs told me this, and then I shoved you, and then I was back, and I was like, everybody stay the fuck back, and I backed into the water. I backed off that one edge and I died. And then I was like, fuck. And then Cody crossed, and then he had the button. You crossed, you dumped him, and then the guy couldn't get across. So he just died due to oxygen.
There was one round where Cody was the personoid. He's the last one. And the guy who was alive was across the bridge. And Cody was like over there throwing bottles, and he was like, "I don't know what to do." He's like, he's like laughing because he's like, we all found out he's the person. It was just him, that one guy, and there was on the other side of this fucking chasm, and the guy just died from oxygen. But anyway, shit like that happens, and it's funny. But the one time I walked into a room, and I saw these two guys in the corner, and they were just like, this guy's like, "So what, do I press 2 to talk?" He's like, "Just press 2 to talk to me." And I'm standing there watching them and listening. And this is my second game ever. I'm like, "That's weird." And they turn like, "What?" And I'm like, "That's fucking weird. What are you guys doing?" And they're like, "We're just talking." I'm like, "Talking about pressing 2 to only hear each other?" I'm like, "That's kind of fucking weird." And then like I walked in the kitchen, the guy's like looking at him. I'm like, "Dude, I'm on to you. I'm fucking watching you." And he's just like, "I didn't do anything." I'm like, "You're trying to talk privately with that guy? That's fucking weird." And now I just be like, "Bullshit. Those guys are the dudes." But then I was like, "I don't get it. What are they doing?" Anyway, the guy comes up behind me in the kitchen, kills me. I'm just like, whoop, and I just died instantly. Here's the fucking crazy shit, though. This is where you see the psychopaths. As I'm dead, when you're dead, you're like this robotic vacuum. You can fly around, and like one gets a lucky charm. The other vacuums, as people die, can drive around trying to take it from you. And like I said, lucky charm. It's a fucking 4-leaf clover. And it's like tag or whatever. I think it's just to keep people busy while they're waiting, but also you can just watch as people play. I'm watching, and there's the personoid that killed me, the other personoid in the same room, and then one human. The other 2 humans are off doing something. I'm dead. They don't know I'm dead yet. Fucking the personoid that didn't kill me, I don't know if he meant to do it or not, but he has grabbed the human. And as soon as his hands even fucking touch that boy's shoulders, the fucking person that murdered me like ran up. He's like, "Get the fuck off him," and like shoved the other personoid head first into a bar. And the guy just hit the ground. The other person hasn't even said shit. And fucking the person that killed me is like, "Get this motherfucker." And he grabs him, and the guy runs up. He's like, "Yeah." And he starts choking. He's like, "Yeah, fuck you, motherfucker." He's like yelling. And the other person just dies. And then he's like, "I fucking saved you." He's like, "Yeah, dude, thanks." He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I fucking saved you, dude." And he's like, "All right, let's get these keys and get the hell out of here." And they like ran off. And then the person that died, he's just like, "I feel betrayed." I'm like, "You were betrayed. That dude just fucking killed you." And he's like, "What the fuck was up with that?" I'm like, he's playing the long con, dude. He wrecked you. That guy ended up winning. He like took everyone out one by one. I was the first guy he killed. But at the very end, he like trapped a dude across the bridge, and he had this whole villain speech he started giving him. He's like, "It's just me and you now." And he started talking. I'm like, this guy has rehearsed this. This is a fucking real psychopath. He also sounded like Jason
Last
Mewes,
Jedi
which was weird.
That's like Empire Strikes Back shit. Like
It was horrifying.
Vader and Luke in the fucking Sky City.
I was like in awe. I'm really like upset I didn't record that because I was like, what the fuck just happened? That dude just murdered that other dude. Although there was one match where I forgot what happened, but I think the guy I was playing with disconnected. We were all playing together, and I ended up winning by myself, and I was like, "That's wild. That game's fucking rough when you're by yourself. You gotta get real crafty." So anyway, I talk about this game all night. I really like it a lot. You'll probably see more from it, and I'm gonna try and stream it soon because I think it'd be a really fun game to stream. Any quick thoughts? And let's just move into what you've been playing. Touch on the games we've already talked about a little bit, but talk about games.
No, that game is fun, and like you said, it will destroy relationships if people aren't comfortable with who they're playing with. Because like it's like you almost feel betrayed, but it's just the game. So I mean, you really can't get upset with anybody about it. But no, it's fun, and I'll definitely play it more. The only other game I've been playing is Yakuza 0. I literally bought every single Yakuza.
Not the copy you left here.
And I just rebought that game.
So did I. I have it on Steam.
So yeah, I bought every single Yakuza for on PlayStation 5, and I'm going through them. I'm currently in Yakuza 0, which technically I'm playing them out of order.
Yeah.
It should go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Yakuza 0, 6, and then 7.
Yeah.
But I played 7, and then now I'm playing 0, go all the way through 6. So, but no, I'm having a blast. I really love the Yakuza games. Their weird juxtaposition between super serious story and like wacky ass side stuff is.
Dude, they are funny and charming and just really fun and lighthearted sometimes. And then people are just like getting unloaded on in the street, multiple bullet holes just in them, bleeding all over the place, and then getting shot in the head. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And they nail it. It works. When the serious parts happen, I'm like, oh shit. And then when it's funny, I'm like, haha, this is funny.
Yeah, it's like it's such a they marry that really, really well.
Yeah.
I don't know how,
but that's how One Piece is for me. It's just
It's
goofy and funny the whole time.
It's very anime-esque.
And then like a serious moment happens, and I'm just like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's like Dragon Ball Z.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not to that degree, but like it's an early example of
I get what you're
a
talking
goofy, dumb character. But then when shit gets serious, you're like, oh fuck.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like for example, I just fought a boss in a sewer. I was driving a motorcycle in these sewers with a pipe. I fucking cracked the main character with it, and then I whooped his ass. And then I immediately started going on like a telephone dating mini game where you gotta like have like a weird like conversation, and then you get to meet up with them, and like it's like their own little mini game there too. And it was just I was just in this super serious brawl in a fucking sewer, and now I'm trying to hit up chicks on on telephone Tinder.
Oh yeah.
And that little levity, I think if the whole game was that super serious, I'd be like, holy shit, this is like almost too heavy. Like, I don't want to deal with this. So I think the way they marry that's actually makes the games a whole lot better, because it kind of gives you like a moment of levity, like when you're doing the karaoke and someone's singing, and then you're just hearing yourself going, oh, 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 and trying to sing with them and play fucking tambourines and shit. Other than that, that's all I've been playing.
Yeah, one thing I want to say real quick before we move into the next thing, because we definitely should. It's already an hour and 17 minutes into this. I watched a thing on the guy who created the Yakuza series, and I didn't know this until they said it. I'm like, that makes all the sense in the world. The dude worked on Shenmue and Shenmue 2. And when the Dreamcast failed, he was like, I have this idea for the Yakuza series. He was really inspired by he wanted to make like that Tokyo nightlife feeling, which I think they fucking nail. I love exploring the city in Yakuza games. But he was trying to sell it as this like serious Yakuza drama, but also like this funny comedy game with all these mini games like that, which is pretty much what Shenmue was, just not Yakuza related. But it's also a brawler where he did mini games and explored a city and talked to all sorts of people and shit. And Sega was like, fuck no. And he's like, dude, let me make this game, and if it doesn't do well, I'll quit. I'll never work here again. Like I'll risk my whole fucking job on this. And eventually they did do it, and now he's like the most successful creative dev at Sega.
I would say Yakuza.
He also looks like a Yakuza character.
More and more popular every time one comes out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he like I said, he's the top dog at Sega now.
Yeah,
because
I'm sure that took a whole lot, but
but he still went from a time right after Dreamcast where he had to like put his name on the line. and now he's like running shit. So it's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
yeah. Real quick note: they literally took the Yakuza cast and the characters that everybody knows, and they put them in feudal Japan. There's 2 of them, and I guess they're gonna try and localize them for the States.
Yeah, I heard about that. I'm definitely fucking stoked for that.
Yeah, me too. Especially if it's as
I feel like the chances are better
weird.
now than ever too, because of how well 6, 7, 0, and Like a Dragon have done.
Yeah,
I still see
Like a Dragon.
I see people
fucking
streaming
awesome.
0 all the time right
Yeah.
now. So
Yeah, they're great. We should move on though. So let us know in the comments, what games have you guys been playing? What games did you recommend us play? What games are you excited to play soon? Let me know everything you're thinking about in the comments below. All right, so there are games coming out this month, and 2 of them that are kind of on my radar are Returnal and NieR Replicant. So we have videos for both of those that we're going to be watching, reacting to, and talking about. And the first one we are going to react to is the Returnal Hostels trailer for PS5, which I think is going to show enemy types in Returnal. And yeah, if you don't know what Returnal is, you're going to find out soon, but it seems like a bullet hell game meets kind of Doom sci-fi shit. Like, it seems like you're doing a lot of jump around, shooting, and dodging shit. So, yeah, we're going to watch this. I'll say real quick, I went from going like, yeah, that game looks like whatever.
Right,
and then when we saw the last one, I was like, whoa, that game actually looks kind of sick. So I'm actually really excited to see this and see if it drives any more hype for me. I'm already sold on the game. So I'm most likely going to pick it up when it comes out. Any thoughts on this before we watch it?
and the only thing I was going to bring up is when you were fidgeting with the page there, where you're that when the comments popped up. There was a lot of positive comments too. So
Yeah.
I think they're doing a good job of advertising it in that case. So
They waited though, because
Yeah.
when they first showed it off, I was like, eh.
it was pretty generic.
And then when I
Yeah.
saw the gameplay, I was like, whoa, what the fuck? I didn't know it was
Right.
that. I thought it was going to be like a adventure, sci-fi, horror-themed thing, maybe with some shooting.
Yeah, for sure.
Did you remember that game Dead Nation?
Yeah.
Housemarque made that game.
Yeah. I think they made something else too. It was like really kind of small. This is like their biggest project.
It is 100%. They do twin stick shooters.
Yeah.
This is the first time they've ever done something super AAA.
Yeah. Which is
All
crazy.
their twin stick shooters are great.
Yeah, I love twin stick shooters. So most of them that I play, I like. So it's kind of cool to see. I always love seeing a company that has made like low budget games like dive into something big. It's always really interesting because it's kind of a huge leap. So, any thoughts?
No, I just remember being kind of intrigued by it. I honestly doubted something that I would play, but I'm definitely like curious because I think thematically it's very interesting. So
Yeah, Josh, thoughts?
No, I've been kind of on media blackout with this game, like I usually am with games that I'm kind of looking forward to. So
so you're
I guess we'll
ruining
see
that
how
for
this goes. So
Well, I always do this for Josh because fucking for anybody who doesn't know, Josh has this thing where he doesn't like to watch trailers for stuff, which I actually kind of respect. I'm kind of in the middle. Sometimes I have a cap where I can stop watching because I'm like, I don't want to see any more.
For sure.
Me
Like
and you are
Final
both
Fantasy
like that.
VII, I
Yeah.
was like, okay, stop.
But Josh just straight up doesn't want to see anything on it.
Yeah.
I'm like, see the trailers? Like, I don't watch that. I'm like, oh, okay.
How do you live, man?
So when he's on the show, when we watch trailers, half the time he hasn't been watching them. So, so yeah, I'm gonna ruin that for him. Anything else you guys want to say?
No.
Ready with the video?
Mm-hmm.
All right, 3, 2, 1, and go. Look at the PlayStation Studios logo. Look at that.
The variety of dangerous fauna on this world
This is on
beyond
PS5.
anything I've
Yeah, that's
previously
cool.
experienced.
It's a good looking game.
pretty frenetic.
I was say
movement.
that you can even bounce around like that and shoot like cool weapons and stuff. This is like right up my alley.
I've never encountered such hostility.
Plus, I was actually talking about this today. I don't like blocking in games. I like dodging.
Yeah.
I hate allowing someone to touch me in a game. So like, I love that there's an emphasis on dodging. I also love like the bullet hell nature of this.
Yeah, she dodged like backwards, which was really cool.
It kind of is reminiscent in the dodging and the mechanic. I'm struggling to spit this out, but NieR Automata, where there's a bunch of stuff going on and you can dodge through or over them and stuff. So obviously the combat's different because it's a gun and not swords, but
in a weird way, it kind of reminds me of Vanquish. Do you remember that game?
Yeah.
I mean, that game was weird because you just slide all over the fucking place on your back and shit. But that game was like really kinetic and you're constantly moving, and that's what it kind of reminds me of. It also reminds me of Doom a little bit because it's got that philosophy of always moving and shooting.
Yeah, I would, from visually, from what I'm seeing, I would say it's like Doom meets NieR for me.
For sure, yeah. NieR has that bullet hell feeling to it as well.
Well, and especially they showed a lot of that off this trailer.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, I'm definitely picking that up. That looks like a game I would play. It looks fun to play. Like, that sounds kind of dumb because you hope any game you play is fun to play, but some games are funner than other games to play. You might be playing the game for the story, you might really like the fucking characters, you might like some of the mechanics, you might like the idea of building up resources to achieve things, but this game just looks like when you're in the moment, bouncing around shooting and dodging stuff, it's just going to be fun. You're going to have all these tools, weapons, and stuff like that to defeat these enemies in fast-paced combat, and that's really something that oddly I don't think is that common. I mean, NieR, NieR's like that. There's a lot of movement in that. You're fucking flying around and attacking, stuff like that.
Yeah, I was saying.
Doom, a bunch of shit, but not enough. A lot of stuff is still trying to be like Call of Duty, somewhere in between tactical and run and gun, and I also just love all the colorful telegraphed moves that are obviously designed in a way that is telling you to dodge them and move, which is very NieR as well.
Yeah, and then this one where I really got that, especially the last two things that just repeated there were like the rings on the ground they needed to jump over, and then the other person just like lobbing orbs everywhere. Like this person's gonna do it too. Yeah. Super reminiscent of the bosses in NieR. So
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this game was inspired by NieR.
Yeah, I mean, well, that game was kind of a surprise success too, because I think they expected to make their money on it, but I don't think they expected to sell, even over 1 million copies. I think NieR sold like 6-7 million now.
Yeah,
so
NieR was kind of a big surprise for a lot of people.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
Thoughts?
No, the enemies looked cool. The game's super we're always seeing these games now that aren't built for the PS5. They're kind of built for the PS4 and up-resed. So actually seeing this is a PS5 exclusive game.
Yes,
is nice. It's really good to see some movement in that area because we've literally had nothing since Dark Souls. So
Demon Souls.
Or Demon Souls. Yeah, sorry. So I'm really looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to getting into it. I really like roguelikes, so this is right up my alley. The fun, frenetic combat seems, it seems awesome. So I really can't wait to play it, and it comes out April 30th.
Soon.
Destruction All-Stars is a PS5 game.
Oh,
I'm sure there was a response there.
I don't even know that. I don't know if he was responding to what I said or something else. Sound like you got a little taste of a good cookie or something. He's like, no. I'm not listening to this idiot. I'm with you though. It's coming out soon. I'm stoked on this. I was already sold on it. Watching this again kind of just reinforced that I want to play this game. This game looks sick. I'm really excited to play it. And you bring up a good point. It's a fucking PS5 game, and it looks like a PS5 game, and it plays smooth as shit looking. Like that's the thing I'm loving about it too. Is like the animations are smooth, the gameplay's smooth, buttery smooth. It's fast paced. Like it just looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun to play. Hopefully, there's some really cool like upgrades or perks or something like that to play around with. I think that would be the perfect mix for me of like fun, fast, kinetic combat and upgrades. I would fucking love that shit.
I also love this the world and enemy style is very cool.
Yeah. I love sci-fi. I also like dark sci-fi. Like H.R. Geiger, shit.
Well, and but then the
Alien.
vibrant lighting on top of that just gets to pop more because the background is just so
Yeah.
dark.
That's what I was saying earlier when the guy was swinging the sword and stuff like that. It's all neon colors
Mm-hmm.
mixed with this really drab, dark sci-fi look.
Yeah.
It's a really cool mix. I hope this, I mean, like, unless this game sucks, then I'm going to take this back. But I hope this game does well, because if these guys have only made twin stick shooters, it's quite the upgrade. But
And Housemarque's
influence
kind of
similar.
like a PlayStation darling, so
yeah,
let's hope that they don't jack up their reputation with it. But from what I'm seeing so far, I don't see that happening.
yeah, looks great. Anything else?
Yeah, I mean, I think what we're looking at is going to be like okay at worst. So
Yeah, which is fine with me.
Yeah.
I'm okay with okay games. Not every game has to be amazing.
For
I just
sure.
don't want it to suck, so, which is pretty rare. It's pretty rare when I play a game that I'm like, this game sucks. Blair Witch. Fucking Life is Strange. Drawn to Death. Anything else?
Nah.
All right, quick and easy. Let us know in the comments what you guys think of Returnal. Are you looking forward to playing it? Are you not interested in it? Do you have a PS5 to play it on? Are you planning on getting a PS5
a rough
to
one.
play it? Yeah, apparently they were getting kind of more common, and then I read a thing going like the certain chipset thing they can't get anymore, so PS5s are going to disappear again.
I'll say everything I've
fuck.
heard, everything right now. People are like, well, we thought we were going to hit a mark, but now it's looking like next year.
Yeah.
God, man.
People are gonna have to wait. Oh well. Yeah. Let us know what you're thinking about in the comments below when it comes to Returnal. Are you stoked? I am. All right. Next video we're gonna watch is a 15-minute video for NieR Replicant. This is gameplay. This is via PlayStation Underground, and I think it's on PS4. It says PS4. And yeah, new gameplay, video highlights, improvements to combat, all that shit. They're going to talk about it. I know they talk in this video, so we're going to have something to listen to. And yeah, quickly, I think we're all fans of NieR Automata, or Automata, however you like to say it. And so I'm assuming we all want to play this game. Is there anything particular you're looking forward to? You just ready to play it now? Any thoughts on this before we watch this video?
I think it's just going to be fun to play it just because the original games, were made that were made before NieR Automata were not made by Platinum Games. They were made by Square, so they're going to feel different in the way they play. So I'm kind of curious to see how that feels in comparison, and especially because this is going to be a lot of people's second.
But the
experience.
same dude designed them, didn't he? He made them.
Yeah. The
Dragon
same
Guard
creative mind
3,
is there. Yeah.
Wherever the fuck, and this, the original one.
Yeah. I expect combat to feel a little stiffer though.
I thought they're making improvements to make it feel more in line with.
They are.
Yeah.
They're also they're adding content to the game, so this is more.
There's another video that I was gonna watch, but it was about extras you can get if you buy the game, and it showed like stuff from NieR Automata.
There's some
and
cosmetics you can get, but there's also new dungeons they're adding to the game.
that, but also there's I think a costume that lets you play as an original character from the original one that's not in this one.
From the US version where the main character was older instead of young.
Exactly. Yeah, you can play as him or something. I was gonna watch that, but I was like, I think this 15-minute video is a little more substance to talk about. So,
No, I'm excited. I also hope that if it does well and they do a good job with not only like remastering it but like adding stuff to it, I hope they revisit some of their other games in the series. But I also hope it convinces them to start working on another title. It doesn't have to be NieR Automata 2 because I know.
sure, I don't think they should do an Automata 2. I think they just make the fucking brand new NieR.
Agreed.
That has all the similar things you expect, the fucking awesome sound design and music.
The story that's
but
never happened.
But a different story, different world, maybe connected loosely in some way. I fucking love that shit. Like, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I will not complain whatever they make, though. But I think it would be cool to have something distant like they've been doing with all these games.
I want to see him get another title because lately all he's done is like mobile game stuff and like side project
Exciting.
collaborations and stuff, and I don't feel like he gets to like make anything that way because he has to like fit within other structures at that point versus making his own project. So
Bayonetta 3 not locked on the Switch.
that's not
That's what I
Yokotaro,
want.
but
It is a platinum game though.
Right, this isn't. This is a Square game though.
Oh shit! Yeah. It
Yeah.
is. Didn't they have? Well, didn't they have Platinum Games work on it?
They made NieR Automata.
Yeah.
But before that, it was also in-house Square.
I don't watch trailers. Okay.
True. We covered
What does
this.
that have to do with this? Anyways, yeah, I'm excited. I'm buying it. So
Yeah, I'm not. I don't have much to add to that. I'm pretty sure everything you said I agree with. I'm excited for it. This is a game that I did not play when it originally came
Same.
out. I love the idea of games that needed or should have gotten attention but didn't, getting a second chance. I think it's the perfect time. Just like Yakuza. Yakuza existed for a long time, beloved in Japan, but also by a small group of people over here.
For sure.
And that game should have failed. And then eventually, kind of even Monster Hunter had a niche crowd, and now World happened, and everybody loves it. So NieR Automata came out, and that shit, just like people didn't know what the series was, played it, and like, I love this. And then by word of mouth, it got really big. So to go back and play this version of an older game, but modernized, is really exciting. I have seen some gameplay already, and it looks like a brand new NieR game. The graphics are great. It looks like it plays really well. So I'm really excited to see more on it. I want to hear more on it. I'm already sold. But yeah, I'm long story short, I'm excited to play this game.
I'm ready to be
excited.
depressed by the end.
Hopefully, with a little luck and God on our side, we'll be very depressed by the time we beat this game, which is typically my favorite way to end any game. Being that I love Metal Gear Solid series. Josh, thoughts?
No, I'm excited to play it. Like I said, I know what it is. I don't know much about it, obviously. So maybe this will shine some light on it, and I can have a better opinion by the end of it.
Yeah. All right. Let's. You got the video ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's jump in. 3, 2, 1, and go.
For the love of all that is holy, would you please stop pounding me?
Then move! Oh boy. It's never good when a book starts talking to you.
Never been treated in such a
You know, guys, I've heard of audiobooks, but this is ridiculous.
Oh my god.
That's funny, bro. Must
Hey
be a
everybody,
comedian.
welcome to another episode of PlayStation
The
Underground.
shorts, dude.
You got Tim and Kristen here.
I mean,
Fucking Saber.
Hey,
9S.
So we're joined by Reed
true.
Barucci, who's the marketing lead on NieR Replicant
People-
from Square Enix.
people call me
for
Nines.
NieR Replicant. Reed, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys. Really excited to be
She
here.
shuts him down too
Yeah,
so
this
fast.
This is going to be
Like, shut the
a
fuck up.
slice of NieR Replicant that we haven't seen on the ramp up to this new release. Can you tell us a little bit about what we're going to be seeing?
Sure. So this is pretty early in the game. It's a gameplay segment known as the Lost Shrine, and the reason we're going here is because our little sister Yona has disappeared from our village, and we're
Aw.
frantically searching to find her. So this
I'm
is
so
the first
stoked to
place
go into
where
this
we're
game
looking for
without
the
playing the
Lost Shrine.
prior game.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be like,
Great.
it's
And
going
we
to feel
should
like a
note
brand
that
new
we're
fucking
checking
game
out
to me.
some,
For sure.
pre-captured gameplay.
Although I'm sure a lot of people probably
But,
prefer
yeah,
if I
this seems
had
like a
played
great,
the prior game because they
sort of
probably love it. Like,
establishing
you never played
shot
it.
Of, and maybe we jumped ahead
Look
a
at
little
that
bit
guy
there to
go.
the entrance
Oh,
here.
yeah.
But can you tell us about
He's fucking-
this location and kind of its place within the world of NieR Replicant?
Sure. So this Lost Shrine location is pretty important to the rest of the game. We'll come back here a couple times, but we can tell, just in the way that it establishes this world, that we're in a very future post-apocalyptic version of a modern world that's similar to ours. Chronologically, this takes place thousands of years into the future from, our present time, and then thousands of years before the events of NieR Automata. So we're kind of functioning in these really cosmic, outrageous periods of time.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, and I've played some of NieR Automata. Most of it, I've gotten several endings, but I have not actually. I don't have any experience with NieR Replicant. So maybe one thing I'm kind of curious from,
Same
and
boat,
if there are
so.
good examples within this video as we're checking it out, this gameplay. What are some of the really cool things that make NieR Replicant unique from a gameplay perspective that are worth highlighting?
From a gameplay perspective, I would say that, if you're familiar with the original 2010 release of, all caps NieR in the West, then there's going to be a lot that NieR Automata is establishing that this game tries to follow in the footsteps of. So, where that original release was kind of panned critically for not having the greatest
glad he said
controls, the
Automata.
greatest combat.
That's how I'm used to saying it, but a lot of
Here
people say
comes NieR
Automata.
Automata,
I
overseen
think
by
it's
Platinum
more of the
Games.
European
Combat
way of
is
saying it.
incredibly fluid. The
Maybe.
movement is
I
fast
haven't heard
and
much
feels
European
really
people saying
great.
it.
And so that same amount of work has been applied to
There's
this
also
title
people
to
out there
bring
that
it
say
to that same
Chocobo,
level
though.
of
True.
fluidity and
Just
grace and
Fucking
excitement.
crazy.
It's interesting that we just saw this like perspective shift for this little combat sequence. Is this something that sort of happens a lot in the game?
Absolutely. So, going back to fans of Automata, like that game really took advantage of this like perspective shifting. It would change genre a lot, so not always like a hack and slash. Sometimes like a bullet hell or like a side scroller. So this game you'll start to realize that this game is actually the one that established all of those mechanics to begin with, and Automata is kind of just expanding on them.
Nice.
Yeah, that's really cool. That was one of my, favorite elements
nice,
of Automata.
dude.
So I was going in with not a lot of experience with this NieR game. I was really happy to see that it has like some of those similar tenets. Yeah, and another thing like the combat, the encounters. What is sort of the bread and butter of NieR Replicant's combat all about, as we're seeing here?
So we're seeing a lot of combos. A lot has been done to sort of, increase the range of what the player can do within combat. So you have light and heavy attacks. You have the ability now to dodge a little bit more actively. You can parry enemies' attacks. So if you hit the guard button at the right time, you'll parry the enemy's attacks, make them stagger a little bit, and open them up to receiving more of your attacks.
Nice.
Okay, gotcha. That was one thing that I really, appreciated about NieR gameplay in general, was just sort of like, depending on how deep you wanted to go and how technical you wanted to go, the game could either be really accessible in combat, or you could get really, really technical and
you can get pretty wild, yeah.
Really, really focus on your parries. Would you say that it's sort of that same level of sort of accessibility versus mastery that's attainable within NieR Replicant?
Absolutely. I would say there's a ton of variety here in terms of how you want to approach combat. Once we get the Grimoire Vice later and it opens up our ability to use magic, that provides even more, possibilities. So you can, like in Automata where you had the pods, you can apply pressure and damage with, you're just kind of holding down R1 and like spamming the enemy with bullets. You can do that in this game as well with magic while you're still attacking, while you're trying to.
Damn, that
is not a dagger.
Well, technically,
knife is
there's a
fucked
lot
up.
of possibilities here.
Cool. I see we've equipped something called the Nirvana Dagger, which is coolest name possible for a weapon.
Dagger.
So what are these monsters that we're sort of fighting up against right now?
These are known as shades. So these are sort of the primary enemies you're going to be encountering throughout the game. They don't do very well in sunlight, which is kind of why they're steaming here.
Oh, cool.
So that's actually part of the game where, you can draw them into these situations where they are exposed to sunlight, so they're a little weaker. But yeah, these are the main enemies that you're going to be fighting through the story.
That's really cool. So we're seeing, maybe that was an attempt there too, before the enemy was fallen, to kind of knock them back into the sunlight. That's such a cool mechanic. I really like that. Obviously, like this game's looking, it looks really pretty. The art style does a lot of heavy lifting for just how gorgeous these NieR games are. But what else has been done to sort of, enhance the visuals of this or other elements in this version of the game?
So I'm glad that you pointed out like the textures and stuff have been upgraded. The character models have been vastly improved, in my opinion, over the original. But not only that, like the sort of more subtle elements, like the music has been
He's like, this is early in the game. He's in the tutorial.
Yeah.
It's teaching him how to
look at the
play.
score, was like, I think I can do a little bit better. So
Which is
a lot
fine.
of
I
the
don't
music
wanna
has
see
been
far into the
rearranged,
game,
all of it
for
has
sure.
been re-recorded, and it sort of adds a very subtle gameplay layer. Yoko Taro talks about the soundtrack being like the perfect background music, and it's not in a way that's like negative or anything, but it's in the sense that like the music should be in service of whatever emotion is being conveyed by the game. So we find a lot that
Automata.
they're trying to layer the different portions of the soundtrack. So, while we're just walking around, it's very calm, it's just the vocals, but as soon as we get into combat, the layers will sort of seamlessly add on. The percussion comes in, more instrumentation, and really adds to that organic feeling of excitement as you start transitioning between the different types of gameplay.
I love here we have looks like an an environmental puzzle, which is one of my favorite things to do in a game.
Yeah, and you're going to find a lot of these too. It's not just hack and slash all the way through. There are cerebral portions that sort of test your brain.
Yeah.
Test me, bro.
Head here.
Oh, that's weird to see. I just fought those guys.
We found her.
Oh, finally.
We found our sister. And she is behind.
That's funny. That's the second boss in the new raid.
So yeah, this is
Bitter.
so cool
Yeah.
looking. I love this sort of I don't know. There's just not a lot of games that look quite like
Seems like
this,
that's working.
in terms of just like the art style of the enemies and just sort of like the ornate designs and glyphs.
There
Man,
it
yeah,
goes.
it's looking really great. Oh, all right. So
Oof.
what's happening here?
So we found the
Little
Grimoire
egg buddy.
Vice. This is going to be our sort of magical companion for the rest of the game, but he's not going to be very happy about it at first.
Oh no.
So I'll let this play out a little bit.
Cool. Yeah, let's check it out.
Yeah, let's take a look. I love that their armor looks like faces.
For the love of all that is holy, would you please stop pounding me?
Oh, then move! Never good when a book starts talking to you.
And I wanted to give you that space, you know. This is, of course, the amazing Liam O'Brien reprising his role as Grimoire Vice. All of the original cast from the 2010 release has come back to re-record
cool.
their voices.
That's really cool.
Oh, that's wonderful.
That's so great. Yeah, guys, I've heard of audiobooks, but this is ridiculous.
We have to hear that twice?
I want to apologize for my comment earlier about audiobooks. But so what,
Wonder how
what's
long
sort of
he's
the
waiting to say
relationship
that.
like there with the Grimoire? Is that a companion that's with you
Waiting
through
to say
the
that
rest of NieR
since a
Replicant?
week ago, planning this
Comes your
video.
companion forever. And yeah, I feel like the relationship is pretty comedic. Grimoire Vice is kind of this stuffy, grandiose, arcane book with sort of all of the knowledge of the universe, and he does not miss an opportunity to tell you that you suck at this or like you're doing this wrong.
I was gonna say, like, right at the beginning there, he was like, listen,
You suck.
Aren't doing too well, and I am this ancient being.
Exactly.
I will grant you one final chance.
It's one thing I appreciate about my experience with NieR Automata as well, which is just like there's this balance of like levity and absurdity with some of the serious natures and tone of the world at times, and bouncing back and forth between that.
I think it's necessary because honestly, the dark themes that are explored in both of these games could use a little bit of balancing, you know.
Yeah, definitely. All right, what's happening here?
What's happening here?
Big boys wake it up.
Do not look happy.
No. If I ever have a giant suit of customized armor, it has to have like a cool face on the front. Like I want it to be
Man, look
mostly
at how they
face.
fucking move.
I love how they move.
It's great. Okay, so the Grimoire it adds some ranged sort of combat options here. I'm seeing.
Right, so you see the bar up on the top right. That's the blue one is going to be your magic bar. So when you're firing what's known as dark blast, these sort of magical projectiles at your enemies, the gauge will slowly deplete. So you can't always be holding this down and applying pressure.
Right.
Enemy cannot move so long as the barrier is in place.
Gotta think it through.
Yeah, definitely.
Stay calm. The man who keeps his head in the fight is the one who...
All right, so one of them broke out of his
Yeah.
shell.
Okay, so some kind of
Oh, so this guy can sort of lunge at you.
seeing like some different attack patterns that you have to juggle and bounce between here.
Just love the music.
Yeah, it's so intense.
To make me
Oh yeah,
want
so
to
when
play
they're knocked down
fucking
like that, then
Automata.
that's your cue
I'll
to,
say, I gotta still
to keep
finish
hitting it as hard as you
ending
can.
C and D, so
Got it.
And that sort of kicks off the next stage.
Okay, gotcha. I always break through. Oh, that was close.
Look at him, he's like, oh.
If you have siblings, you know how that
Oh.
goes. So many close calls.
If you have siblings, you understand.
Yeah.
Round two.
Oh, and if you notice,
Oh, Titus. Go ahead.
If you notice in the back too, that sort of like magical barrier, it has some text on it.
Yeah.
It's known as angelic text in the universe of NieR, and it actually has, you know, a key to it that is equivalent to the English alphabet. So if you really took the time and you had this key, you could decode all of these, you know, messages, and you'll find some neat Easter eggs that the devs have put in.
I love that.
Yeah, that's great. The attention to detail within the NieR series and, you know, NieR Replicant is so impressive, from like the you know, the made up languages that are, you know, part of like
Who's giving it to
vocal
him?
tracks with the soundtrack. It's just really impressive.
Absolutely, and I'll plug, you know, a previous PlayStation blog where we interviewed Emmy Evans on how she created that language for the soundtrack. It's really, really interesting. I learned some new stuff from reading that.
Look at this big boy attack.
Going all out.
Oh, I love that. That
Damn.
spear,
Yeah.
or like a missile.
Oh yeah, so this is another upgraded sort of magical attack that we gain. Throughout the game, you'll progress and gain ever more powerful magical attacks through the Grimoire Vice. This one's called the Dark Lance.
Okay.
The other guy's like, I am not okay with this.
They are not but
Maybe you should have gotten some protective eyewear, I think.
That guy just lets it rip.
The Grimoire is just like, just swat them. Just swat them from the side.
This is one thing I also really like about NieR, and it's getting me excited about this game as well, is that sort of like the almost like bullet hell element that enters battles, where it's important to
I'm
deal
so
damage
stoked
and
for
dodge
this.
melee attacks, but, you know, these sort of space controlling ranged barrages from bosses is so cool.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that keeps like players on their toes the most. Is just they have to, you know, change genres so many times throughout this game. It's not just your traditional just hack and slash. There's, exactly like you said, there's bullet hell.
Yeah.
So many different ways to.
That's one thing I loved about
challenge you.
Automata as well. Is like fucking everything you do
as
in
we
the game
see,
is just a spectacle.
you know, a
Every
success,
boss fight is like a
in
spectacle.
combat
And it's
here,
like everything's just
on
an
Verge here. I
event.
guess, you know, we can say goodbye
It's
here,
always
but Reed, wanted to
changing
say
things
thank you
up.
so much for,
Yeah,
for
it's really
joining us on
impressive.
Underground.
It makes it hard for
Take a
you
look at
to
NieR
get to a
Replicant.
point of boredom.
Yeah, you
Super fun
can't
game.
because it's just
I hope you
constantly
enjoyed the gameplay segment. The game comes
evolving,
out on April
changing.
23rd.
You're gonna
and,
do a
there's
third-person
plenty
action
more
game, and now you're gonna do a bullet
to
hell.
discover and experience with this title.
Now
I
you're
really
gonna do
hope
this
you
hacking mini game, and
Yeah,
And
thanks
even
so
the
much.
music
Thanks
is
for watching.
like evolving and changing. It's all layered.
yeah.
Getting us
Was that-
abrupt.
Was that 15?
Oh yeah.
Holy crap!
Oh
that's
yeah.
quick.
That's how you know it's good. All right, what do we think?
I mean, I was already gonna buy it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, they didn't have to sign anything to me.
they just reinforced it. It was nice to see a lot of the elements that I'm familiar with, you know, still there, and obviously they went through and they smoothed it out because they wanted to feel closer to the game that people probably got introduced to, more likely, while also still trying to keep it true. I also love hearing that they, you know, made sure to incorporate that layered music, because I do think probably about half the experience in NieR Automata
It's
is
such a
music.
characteristic. Yeah, it's a big deal. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm thrilled. Even if the story's like okay, if the music's great, it's gonna be more than enough to carry it for me
Yeah.
I think this comes out.
this month.
Yeah.
Well, I
soonish.
think it comes out in a couple days.
Yeah,
Yeah, like within the next couple days. So like,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a day
I mean,
day won't buy for me. I don't mean to cut you off, Chevy.
no, you're good.
Might come out. I'm gonna look it up.
It's gonna be a day one buy for me. They did seem to kind of nail a lot of the aspects that made NieR fun, and just having those mechanics in like another world, a new world, is just something that I can't really ask more for. So that between the music, it even looks like the pods are pretty much the same thing. Magic Spellbook. So it does look like it's streaming a lot of it down, making it into the great playing hack and slash that NieR Automata is now known for. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to play it. I don't like fucking PlayStation Underground cringe girls and boys, but fucking that's neither here nor there.
Those are Josh's opinions expressed by Josh and Josh only, in case PlayStation wants to
100%.
sponsor this show, which would never happen. It comes out April 23rd, so very soon.
Yeah,
Is that this Friday?
Friday.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, shit, I know what I'm doing this weekend. Yeah, I'm really excited to play this. Kind of like what Chevy said, I was already sold. I'm ready to go. I didn't need to see this, but seeing it, I'm just like, holy shit! I forgot how much I love NieR. And you know, this has, I mean, it already kind of set the stage for NieR Automata. So it's got all the beats that I like about the series, and you know, between Returnal and this, I'm just really excited to be playing some fast-paced action games. Definitely stuff worth playing right now this month. I kind of forgot that we had some big titles coming out, and yeah. So anyway, this game looking really good graphically. Music sounds great. I love that they're doing the layered music like they did in I'm assuming the original NieR, but also Automata. I love that the cast from 2010 came back.
Yeah.
To do the voice acting again. That's kind of crazy because they could have just took all the stuff from 2010 and maybe cleaned it up a bit. But
it just shows another layer of them going, we want the old fans to like it still,
Yeah.
but we want the people coming from NieR Automata as their first NieR game to like it.
Well, and
so
even though a lot of people out there like purists, like the original's the best, blah blah blah,
Right.
I think it still would be a treat to play the same story again and have the same voice actors come back, but they're not going to do it 100% the exact same way they did it before. So I think that'd be fun to kind of hear the same casts again doing it. That's kind of cool.
Those are 11 more years of voice acting. The
Yeah.
performances could be 100% better. So
Or maybe they got worse. That'd be crazy.
Maybe.
Like we've been sitting around doing nothing. That was the last thing we ever did. Yeah, I think it's a really neat thing. The environments look awesome. The gameplay changing up is expected, but very cool looking. The combat is really cool. I like that it's pretty much similar, except for your weapons aren't teleporting in or whatever. But like, but your book is essentially the same as the robot. And of course, this game came first, so it's really kind of interesting to see that evolution.
especially for this is an 11-year-old game at this point.
Yeah.
So.
And all the things everybody's impressed with Automata, it's like there was a game that existed before that came up with most of these ideas.
Yeah.
So it's really impressive. It's one reason I'm really excited to play this. And I did buy you, I think, some of the NieR games. I think Drakengard 3
And Gestalt.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is the U.S. release of this game, where you're an older version of this guy.
So
instead, though,
after playing this, I'm sure I'll want
Western
to
marketing.
check those out and see how close it came to the original. But yeah, I sit here and babble about every little detail about this thing, but all in all, like, I'm really excited to play this. I think it looks fucking great. Everything about it looks awesome, and it's got me so excited. It's similar to Resident Evil Village in the sense of, like, I want to play this now. I might go back and play Automata for the couple days I have until this comes out. It's not that much of a wait, so I'm very excited for Friday to play this.
Yeah, I've been meaning to go back through Automata when I was. It's on Steam, but there's a massive issue with the frame rate during cutscenes.
Interesting.
And it's not like a GPU problem. It's just with the game.
Yeah, the
Like,
Steam releases.
People have like modded it
Yeah.
to make it playable because it's at like 15 frames a second in every cutscene, and that's some of the cutscenes are like the "this will not continue" fight. One of the very first boss fights in the desert. Like, that whole cutscene's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
When Adam's born, and like seeing that at like this chopped ass 15 frames a second, I was like, what the fuck? Like, it ruined the whole thing for me. So I guess they are finally now working on a patch since the Game Pass version came out and it was perfect. Like, the PC Game Pass version just worked great, and then people are like, dude, I bought this on Steam, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And, so now they're it's in development.
Which
but-
really kind of sucks because, like, not to downplay anything on Game Pass. Game Pass offers an insane fucking value. But I still personally like to support when people make something I like. And so it kind of sucks that the people who went out and actually bought it on Steam got shafted. Because, like, you're supporting the creator more than somebody on Game Pass. Not, like I said, not trying to talk shit about Game Pass. It's a great deal. And it's awesome that you can try all these fucking games.
For sure.
But if you do really like something, I do definitely support the idea of buying it. And it sucks that people on Steam got fucked on that. So I hope they do fix that sooner than later. But one thing I was kind of like rolling my eyes about when he said that there was even issues is like, man, Japanese ports, dude. I remember playing Dark Souls on PC.
Yeah,
and I was just like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, especially Dark Souls. Man.
Dark Souls. That's the one. Like, I played it and I was like, this is unplayable. And I looked at them and people were like, yeah, you have to download these mods to make the game playable. I'm like, that's unacceptable. That's fucking insane. It looked great.
Well, it's like when we were trying to play Lost Planet.
Yeah.
That was a mess.
Yeah, dude. Like, what the fuck? Get your shit together. So yeah, I mean, I'm really not surprised. I don't want to be that way, but like you said that there's issues. I'm like, fuck, okay.
Yeah, I'm very likely picking this up on my PlayStation. I wanted to kind of wait and see because I knew about the NieR Automata Steam release. I wanted to see what the PC release was going to be like, but at the same time, I just know it's going to work if I buy it on my console. So.
And of course, you can plug a controller into your PC and play games, but like the way NieR plays feels so like arcadey, so like actiony that I like the way it feels on a controller. So I'm not opposed to buying it on a console either. It's probably how I'll buy it as well.
Yeah, and when you're playing like a twin stick shooter on a PC is kind of fucked up. So like playing something like NieR where it does move genres, does feel a little more tactical and nice on a controller instead of regular mouse and keyboard.
Yeah,
and it's originally designed with that in mind. So
yeah, for sure. I'll probably play on my PS5. Yeah. Anything else you guys want to say?
3 days.
3 days of shit's coming out. I think we're all on board. We're ready to play it. So let us know in the comments. What do you guys think about NieR Replicant? This gameplay, did it do anything for you? Did it make you more excited? Were you already hyped? Are you not hyped for this? Did you not play Automata? Did you play Automata? What did you think of that? Automata, however you say it. Everybody's got a different way to say it. And yeah, did you play the original? Are you somebody who's excited to replay this in a different way? Are you somebody who's more of a purist and like, I don't like all the changes they made? Although I haven't seen a lot of people saying that. I think a lot of people are kind of appreciative of the difference. I see a lot of people kind of celebrating some of the elements of the older games that they are excited to see in the extras video that I watched. People are like, oh yeah, finally, like I can play that character again. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, let me know what you're thinking about in the comments when it comes to NieR Replicant or any NieR game in general. And what would you want from a new NieR game? Are you kind of on the same page as me and Chevy in the sense of maybe wanting just a whole new thing, or do you want like a sequel to maybe this or Automata? Let us know everything you're thinking about in the comments below.
Or something in those 1,000-year gaps.
Yeah, there's so much room. You could do so much. You could do like a almost NieR modern game that would be kind of interesting. You could really do a lot. So yeah,
I was gonna say because Automata's in like 11,000 AD or something like that.
Yeah, it's way in the future.
Yeah, it's post apocalyptic. It's after the end of something. I mean, it's way in the future. And then Drakengard's like medieval fantasy, and then this is like,
And they're all in the same universe.
this is like fantasy. So I mean,
But
like,
post-apocalyptic, which is weird.
yeah, it's weird.
So.
So there's a lot of room to do whatever the fuck you want in there, and just attach it to like, this is something that happened in the world as well. All right, let's move over to reading you guys' comments. We're going to reflect on past episodes, read your comments, and reply to them. If you want your comment to be for sure read, type in hashtag AskTLG on your comment. Otherwise, I pick at random. We did an episode where we reacted to Path of Exile 2, a game I'm very excited to play, and Ultimatum. We also talked about Outriders then as well. So we are continuing to talk about Outriders apparently, and maybe next week we'll talk about it as well. No, we won't. We're going to talk about Plus Club shit. So come back for that. So yeah, make sure to go check out that episode if you're curious about what we had to say on Path of Exile 2. And yeah, we got a comment from Jeremy. I always try and avoid to say your last name because I'm not sure how you say it. Miko. I think that's what you said last time. Apparently don't pronounce the D. He says, "Oh my god, my English is so bad. I'm never gonna comment again. Just joking. I have a better idea. Seth, when you finish Final Fantasy VII Remake, just invite me on your show. I have a great idea. Invite me on your show. Just get me on there. So we can have a real talk about the remake. I promise you the game is more deeply lore and special than it look. There's some crazy hidden shit going on. I might take you up on that. I would. I've been talking to you for a while. I would love to have you on the show. So maybe if I beat the game, we can talk about it. That'd be fun. Anything you guys want to add to that? Any hidden shit going on?
I can't talk about the game. You haven't beaten it.
Chevy has beaten it.
I still haven't even played it at all.
You're missing all the secret hidden shit.
So as much as I'm like conflicted on how I feel about the story, the game is fun as shit. You should play it.
Well, and I will, but since they announced the PS5 version, I'll just wait for that.
Oh yeah,
and
that
then
makes sense.
buy it, and then I get like the Yuffie shit.
Right.
Yeah, that'd be
I'll
the way to
do
go.
that.
Do you have anticipation to play? Of course, you like Final Fantasy VII.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes,
I'm
a whole
stating
lot.
that, but asking at the same time.
Yeah, it's just, and then plus all the stuff they added for Advent Children and stuff like that. I'm really excited to see where they took it. You know, because again, like we're all big fans of Final Fantasy VII, the original back in '97. So, seeing the liberties they took or anything they cut out, I am excited to see what happens. Considering they took Midgar was a 2-hour section of the game or something like that, wasn't it? And now it's like 45 hours.
Yeah.
So,
they stretched out.
Yeah, it's an interesting way to put that for sure.
But like, I'm mostly, if we can talk about this for a second, I'm mostly scared about the, like, if they stretch this out to 45 hours, how many fucking parts are going to be to this game? Like,
I would assume
I
3.
think their plan is 3. It's a very loose plan, though.
I mean, it just seems, are they going to speed up the next few areas, like Calm?
A lot of the middle of the game is traveling, so.
Yeah, I guess that's true. We'll have to see where it goes. I just hope they don't.
Or maybe the next couple games will be bigger games.
That's true.
Maybe this was like to test the waters.
I hope they don't get tired, you know, and it's just like by the third game, we're like, wow, the quality really dropped off on this one.
When he said, I hope they don't get tired, the first thing I thought of was like the guys from Crytek who fucking had to sleep at the office because the bus wouldn't pick them up. They were like sending out like SOS messages, like get us out of here. That shit was scary, dude.
If there's anything I know about like Square Enix, especially after watching interviews, specifically revolving around the rebirth of Final Fantasy XIV, is Square puts a lot of weight on the Final Fantasy name. It's very important to them. Yeah. So even if the reception isn't necessarily great,
I think their weakest outing was 13.
Yeah, and there's people who love that game.
Yeah,
but
Rob.
But there's also people who really didn't like 15, and I thought that was a good game too.
I liked 15 a lot.
Yeah,
it's probably one of my favorite Final Fantasies.
And there's people who don't like it at all.
Which
so
is
I mean,
weird.
like, but they even for shortcomings that can be in their games, they definitely that's where they invest when they make a game. So I wouldn't worry too much about them like getting tired because the name Final Fantasy is on it, regardless of how much they have to dump into it to the point of potentially almost putting themselves in bankruptcy. They've done it before already. So
you guys remember that there's a 16?
Yeah, and I know the creative minds behind it. So I have a lot of expectations, dude, unfortunately, for that one.
Fucking stoked for that shit.
Yeah, it looks really fucking good.
I just like that it's going back to like a fantasy setting.
Yeah.
Because it's been a while since they've fucked around with that. So.
Well, and the timing's really funny for that too. I know we're on tangent now, but
yeah. Blame Josh. Like, can we talk about this for a second? Yes.
Yoshida has been saying for a long time he wants to get away from sci-fi and do some like true fantasy stuff. So.
I love sci-fi and I love Final Fantasy sci-fi because it's unlike any other sci-fi out there. But I'm absolutely welcoming of them changing it up and going back to what they used to do more of when it came to Final Fantasy.
And it's just funny too because like Shadowbringers for 14 is like super fantasy and not very techy.
Yeah.
And then he's working on 16 at the same time, and it's very fantasy. And I was like, okay, you weren't just talking out of your ass.
He's
there.
getting it out of the system. Yeah.
So
it's like, man, I really like to do this, and he's just doing it. So it's respectable.
I feel like he said that intentionally because he's really bad about like throwing like red herrings and Easter eggs out there. So
yeah. Yeah. So maybe by the time Josh plays it and beats it, I will beat it around the same time, and we can have a discussion and maybe invite Jeremy onto the show. Have a conversation. That'd be fun. Yeah. All right. Next comment. Thank you for the comment. Is Simon Writer's Block Randall. That name is just always evolving.
this one's easier to read.
Yeah, it's a little shorter than the last couple. Although I think he has a comment I'm probably gonna read. That's very big. He likes them big comments. He says, "Yep, Grisse de Kudamono le fruit de la Grisseza. I don't know how the fuck he said it. Is a visual novel. Very complex story, as indicated by its title. Obviously, long, complicated title equal complex story. Simple title equal dumb story. Fair. Each comment reading session, the less hope I harbor. Chevy's just indomitable, Seth." You just tell me straight up. Chris got it right, though. Sometimes I read the shit I post, not the common. Not that common. I'm like fucking, the white on this is just blinding me. Not that common on it of an occurrence. It does tend to sound like I had a stroke typing. Either way, Path of Exile looks so legit. I didn't play many Diablo-style games. Top-down view and fast-paced combat together don't charm me much. I think I played 2 of the Torchlight games, and I kept at them for a while, but eventually they just ran dry for me. Didn't finish any of them. Exile might be the first I will, though. It looks great. It's pretty graphically impressive and detailed for its genre. There seems to be a ton of different ways to play it.
Understatement.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, we're on the same page. I mean, I think it looks fucking fantastic. It's interesting that you kind of played Torchlight, kind of fell out of them, but this one's looking interesting to you. So, kind of says something. As for Chevy being indomitable, I mean, yeah, a little bit. And yeah, simple title is dumb story, and complicated title, complex story. I think you're probably right on that.
Or one's a Western game, one's a Japanese game.
True.
To comment on your Torchlight aspect of that, I could absolutely see someone playing the game and not finishing it because it does not have like a deep, compelling story. You're literally playing it for the fun of playing that type of game, and if maybe that's not enough to keep you going, I could definitely see that dropping off. I think Diablo as a series is so strong is because it has really strong storytelling as well on top of.
Although I don't pay attention to it, I don't give a fuck about it.
Sure, but it is there, and
I don't give a fuck.
That's something that also like Wolfson has strong storytelling as well.
I thought everyone's kind of mixed on it. I liked Wolfson's story.
Yeah, I'm not in love with it, but like the storytelling is very strong aspect of the game though, so it does help carry you forward when you're playing it. And it just depends. So maybe Torchlight is not your bag, but maybe you need something a little story heavy. I mean, I don't obviously know. So, but Path of Exile has story. Hopefully they do a better job telling story in Path of Exile 2, though, because it's kind of patchy in Path of Exile. So,
yeah. Josh, anything to add?
No, I haven't seen literally anything on Path of Exile 2 because I'm waiting to play it myself.
Yeah, I don't think you'll be disappointed. It's looking really fucking good. All right. Thank you for the comment.
Thank you.
Kind of on top of the other comment, Maneki Neko says, happy early B-Day, Chevy, which is something that Josh has started now. We celebrate Chevy's birthday a month early.
I think I commented, but thank you.
And then he also says, hey, friends, it's my B-Day week, 38 now. Happy birthday.
I definitely commented on this one.
Yeah. Getting too damn close to that 40. Fuck it. I'm just counting down for a couple years from now. But I wanted to talk about Outriders. Is it worth it on PC? I hear all kinds of horror stories, but so many people are still playing. Is it worth the price tag, or do I hold out for a Game Pass PC version? I keep forgetting that it's on Game Pass, but on console, not PC, which is really interesting. Every time I tell people, I'm like,
they do that.
I'm just like, yeah, just play on Game Pass. Play on Game Pass. And then people are like, it's not on PC. I'm like, oh, yeah, I forgot.
But you're not lying.
Yeah. So first off, already said it, but happy birthday. Approaching 40. I'm behind you, but I'm on my way as well. I will be 35 next year, which is fucking wild. Me and Josh are a similar age, and Chevy
I'll be 35 in July.
Yeah. And Chevy's ahead of us. He's
I'll be
similar.
38 next month.
Yeah. So Chevy's in similar age range. So we're all heading towards 40. I'm actually very okay with getting older. I think my 30s have been great so far. I really like being 30. I feel like I'm more in control of my life than I was in my 20s when I was just partying all the time and being a fucking piece of shit.
Fucking A, I was going to say, being my 30s has been the best time of my whole life. So,
Yeah.
like...
So hopefully you can embrace that getting older and being in control. But yeah, it is kind of crazy to think, like, you know, I was a teenager. It doesn't feel like not that long ago, and just playing video games. Then in my 20s, I was just playing video games, fucking hanging out. Now I'm in my 30s doing the same, and I feel like I'll be playing video games in my 40s, but maybe getting a little older looking. I feel like I'm aging pretty well though, so I'm not too worried about that. But yeah, getting towards 40, it's kind of crazy. 50 is going to be the weird one. I feel like 30 is when, like, you should be getting your life together, probably. And congrats to anybody in their 20s who did that. But around 40 is, like, locking in. 50 is, like, when you're younger, you think 30 and 40 is old. I think 50 is, like, where you're finally going, like, I should be kind of settled in life, so... 40 maybe is that playground, the last playground you have left before 50. So
not to get too morbid, but 50s where early ends start happening. So
I hate the way you said that. That's horrifying sounding.
Yeah, that was fucking scary.
Yeah, now I'm scared of 40. Chevy's fucking early ends, dude.
You turn 40 and Chevy's ready. Chevy's just, hey man, you ready for your?
I'm the
early
wrong
ends?
person to be saying this, but take care of yourself. So
True. Yeah, anything else you guys want to... Oh, yeah, Outriders. I think it's worth it. I think it's worth the price point. It's a little janky. It's a fun game, though. If you have people to play it with, definitely pick it up for full price at $60. I would say that. But if you can play it on Game Pass, or you want to wait for it on PC Game Pass, I think it'd be worth it. It's not a game that I can overly hype, but I think it is. Like, if you got the money... Here's the way I'll put it, and I think I said this in the comment when I replied to you. If you have one game to buy that this month, and there's another one that you think might be better than Outriders, maybe put it towards that. But if you got like nothing else going on and you just want a game to play this month, Outriders is definitely worth the money, I think.
I would also say, if you're not like necessarily needing to play co-op, like, and there's people waiting for you to play it, Outriders is kind of a one and done experience, for what I've heard. So you can play it anytime.
It has an end game though.
Sure, but I mean, like, similar to Borderlands, like, how much of that you're going to do. So
Yeah, for sure. But there is game to it though. Like, there is longevity to it.
No, I know. I
won't be a
just
waste.
I make that example though because most of the games in this genre have been games as service at this point.
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
not games as service. It is
Which
there
I
is
like.
a game. You're
Yeah.
buying the whole thing. Like,
Yeah.
so
That's
a good
one.
point.
That's one of like the biggest things with it is it's not like this endless fucking maybe endless kind of a thing.
mhm.
It's just there's a fucking story.
It's got a
there's
story. You can
beginning,
beat it.
There's an end, and you can hang out and do some end game or not.
Yeah.
As for it being on PC, I prefer it way more to PC than I do on console. I think the aiming acceleration on console literally turned me off of the game.
Yeah.
I literally wasn't going to buy it. And then I was like, fuck it, I'll take a chance on PC. And it's 100% better.
Well, me and you talked without talking about it before, and you just straight up told me you didn't like it. And I was like, oh, it's interesting because I kind of dig it. And you're like, well, yeah, maybe. And I was like, but I'm going to get on PC. And you're like, well, maybe I'll like it better on there. I'm like, no, it plays way better on PC. And you kind of dove in. You're like, okay, I'll try it on there. And you've been liking it. So that's been a huge difference for you.
Yeah, it was like, because like that's ruined the whole thing. I liked the powers. I liked how it played. I didn't like how you aimed. It was just a fucking...
Yeah.
It was loosey goosey. There was just nothing there to fucking...
There's been a couple games I've played on console where it felt like shit completely. And I was like, I don't want to play this like this.
Yeah.
But then hopefully on PC it plays better. As for his question though, would you recommend buying it at full price right now on PC or waiting for it to come out on Game Pass if it does?
I'm actually in agreement with you. Like, if you have nothing else to play this month and you're just looking to spend some money on a game, I think Outriders is definitely worth it, even playing by yourself. But if you got something else to play, like in 3 days, NieR, or in a week, Returnal, then I would much rather. I'd probably spend the $60 on those games.
Yeah, it's not a game I would tell anybody to rush out and get, but it's a solid game. And if you got the money to just pick it up and play it, I don't think you'll be disappointed.
Yeah, I think the only reason to rush it is if, like I kind of had mentioned, if you have friends playing it right now,
yeah,
you gotta ride that wave, right? So
yeah,
like I get that
fair
aspect.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
So.
Anything else?
Thanks for the comment.
Yeah, thank you for the comment. Hopefully we answered that well enough. And moving on to the next comment, which is my highlight video of First Class Trouble. Make sure to check that out if you're curious about what I explained earlier. Hopefully I did a good enough job explaining the concept of it. I will be playing it again, though, soon, and you guys will just kind of get it as I play it. Or go play it. We got a comment from Cody quoting somebody from this video saying, "Lol, are we all good people here?" This is in reference to I was playing with a couple people and we had killed the personoids, but at the time we didn't know. And there's 4 of us left. We're all human. And at one point, 2 of the people I was playing with, these two girls, they had like killed one of the 4 of us. They were all human. And it's because they didn't trust him. And like we got in the elevator, I'm like, where'd the other guy go? And they're like, oh, he was doing weird stuff, so we killed him. And I was just like, wait, are they the fucking personoids? What the fuck? Like, what do you mean you killed him? And then, like, we got to the next area, and this chick's just like, are we all good people here? Are we all good people? And I'm just like, I don't fucking know anymore. And we move on to the next section, and the chick's just like, I say we kill him right now. And I was like, holy shit. And I'm, like, backing up. And I'm like, okay, go across the bridge. And like, I don't trust you. And I'm like, okay, you fucking do the bridge then. You guys do it. I was like, stay that. Like, I was so paranoid. So anyway, yeah, Cody told me he found that part pretty funny because I was legit like on edge when she started asking me that. I'm like, why is she acting fucking crazy all of a sudden? What is this? So, yeah, not much to add on that, but thank you for the comment, Cody.
I love the Titanic moment there.
Oh, dude, yeah, I saw this and I was like, this is my thumbnail. Just, dude, this guy came run down the stairs and he's like, get a fucking fire extinguisher. I'm fucking dying. And he's just running by on fire. And I'm like hugging this person. And I was like, this is the chaos of what this game offers. Yeah. So thank you for the comment, Cody. And then the last video was me and Josh reacting to 5 different fucking videos. This is a TLG reacts for the ages. We reacted to Hood, Outlaws and Legends, The Day Before, Gord, House of the Dead remake, and Riot Control
Simulator,
yeah. Which I ran out of room in the name or the title of the video, and that was the least interesting of all 5 videos. So
priority system took place.
Left it off. So yeah, make sure to go back and watch that. Me and Josh talk about 5 different videos, and it was a good time. Yeah, we got a couple comments. So I'm just going to read them all real fast. Tom B says the day before looks interesting. Nice fluid animations, physics, cool optics. I agree. I think it looks cool as well. I am, a little hesitant because it's a survival game and they are kind of hit or miss sometimes, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to buy it. But I definitely appreciate your opinion on it. Nick Raintree says Hood Outlaws and Legends is a day one buy for me at a $30 price point sold, which was news to me. I didn't know it was going to be $30. So that's just same page. I'm going to buy it day one as well. It's going to do it anyway, but $30, holy shit. He continues saying the day before has me hyped, but I've been disappointed by survival games before. Same, I'm with you. Me and Nick Raintree have a very similar taste in games though, so I'm not surprised by that. So I won't rule it out. I'm in on anything co-op though, for sure. Yeah, agreed. Nick's also a fan of Hunt, so this makes sense. And then we got a comment from Simon Writer's Block Randall again. We're gonna go through this the paragraphs here. House of the Dead remake, okay, but where's Pong? Fair question. Oh boy, though, Riot Control provokes some articles regardless of what it does. And yeah, most of it didn't look like actual gameplay, just in-game scenes. I agree. Well, Gord looks kind of interesting, but I'm not really excited for it per se. But I'll probably take a look on launch. It does have Witcher atmosphere written all over it, though. Hood Outlaws isn't necessarily my kind of game, but it seems like a pretty fun time killer. The day before, low-key hit me out of nowhere. It looks good. Doesn't look more than Days Gone to me, but out of these, probably the most interesting to me. Gunplay seems neat compared to the third-person shooter 2. The controller aiming was kind of giving me anxiety, though. Yeah, dude, that guy was all over the fucking place. Plus a pro for dark interiors, man. I'm tired of game interiors with no actual light sources being all bright because the fake lights placed behind the walls and shit. It doesn't make sense. It's ugly and looks like shit. I agree with you 100%. Actually maintaining your car, though, I hope they'll actually affect the gameplay and won't just be there for feature-rich, bloated. I was meaning to type. The environments are cinematic too. I like them. Thick, lush trees, some nice ambient occlusion on them. There's a variety, but not going overboard. Some dense grass. I fuck with the overall grim atmosphere, dim lights over foggy forests. It looks solid artistically. Some assets might need rework, but overall the game looks good. But what's that guy doing with the controller? It's giving me some Dean Takahashi times or X Doom 2016 vibes. I'm here for it. Lol. Pretty much agree with everything you said, except for that guy might be a little higher skilled than Dean Takahashi. I'm not too sure, but he's shooting all over the fucking place. That shit was stressing me the hell out. Do you guys have anything to reply to with all the comments I just read?
I mean, I wasn't there, obviously. But yeah. I did watch the episode though, and all 5 games just fell flat for me. So, yeah. There's nothing there I'm like super interested in. I think the most interested I was in anything was Gord, and that was like very barely. So
I think that's one of the reasons why. I mean, I was just trying to get Josh to be on an episode anyway, but a lot of the videos there, I was like, these are games I think me and Josh would probably be into. So probably be a lot more interesting for us.
I figured you would have liked Gord just because it's like a city sim and stuff like that.
Yeah, but they didn't really show anything. It was real brief. So
I guess that's fair.
So yeah, nothing. Like I said, there's the most interesting one there was that for me, and it was like barely interesting for me. So
yeah,
it's hard to sell me on something unless you like give me like a breakdown of what I'm going to be doing in a game.
Well,
and stuff, so
Riot Control Simulator, I don't think it's really screaming to you.
Most simulator games aren't. So
yeah, but you don't really strike me as somebody who's trying to control the crowd.
Not like that, but maybe in a tower defense. I did buy one of those recently. I haven't played it yet though.
Which one?
So, I can't remember what it's called, but it's based off an old Warcraft 3 mod, I guess. But it has co-op.
Interesting. I love tower defense.
So maybe I'll have to give you the name so you can check it out yourself.
I need to play Monster Hunter Rise.
I bought that and haven't played that too.
I need to play that. Holy shit. We should all just get together and play that.
And then I bought a third game. I can't remember what it is. I bought 3 the other day, and I only played
Going crazy.
Loop Hero the whole fucking time. So anyways, get back on topic on this though. yeah, it's hard for me to give too much on that. Other than like I already said with the gourd aspect of it, I was kind of having a hard time focusing just because some those videos were just kind of for me. So
Yeah, and I couldn't see you getting into Hood Outlaws and Legends. I wish you could get into Hunt, but it can be scary, but also you're fighting against people, and Hood Outlaws and Legends seems to be of a similar vein. So,
yeah.
And me and
Yeah, I
Josh
don't
have
really
talked
have
about
much-
this, but
Yeah, I don't really have much to add to the comment itself, other than speaking of the environment of the day before. I wish I could understand what fucking period of time that was in.
yeah.
It was anywhere from 1960 to 2020, so it's just
Yeah. There's a lot of shit going on there. The old Lola Cola truck. Looking like it's from
yeah,
the
that looked
50s.
like it was straight out of Fallout.
Yeah.
And then you got a flat screen TV in that fucking thing, and I'm like, what the fuck is
And
going
then
on?
an alarm system looks like it's from the 90s.
Alarm system. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they're using tactical weapons, and the cop car looks like it's from like the 2000s, and like, I'm like, when is this based in?
Yeah, it's like fucking. It's just Americana. It's not really based anywhere. It's just fucking. Let's just throw a bunch of shit in here.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fucking weird. Anything else? And fucking House of the Dead's not that old. Not Pong old, okay? Fucking come on. Let's get realistic here. All right.
I wish they would do the second one.
Yeah, well, they're supposed to make it, and I'm more excited for that one. I want to suffer like G did. And on that note, thank you everybody who commented. Type in hashtag AskTLG on your comment if you'd like to be for sure on the show, or just type in general. I read them all. So yeah, there's no rules anymore. But that's gonna do it for this episode of Tastecast, episode 140. As always, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy this episode. Make sure to check out our other episodes. Check us out on social media and our streams. Links down below. Discord link down below. And we're on audio platforms, iTunes, Spotify, everything else. Links down below as well. And we have Patreon if you'd like to support the channel. Further than liking, commenting, sharing this video, and subscribing if you're brand new. And yeah, I want to thank you guys, Chevy and Josh, for joining me on this Tasty Cast. My name's Seth, and until the next episode, which will be Plus Club this weekend, it's coming up real fast. Make sure to play those games, download them, play them. But until then, have a good one, guys, and take it easy.